create communities together around something that's kind of bigger than themselves. And I think the spiritual jazz we're providing is something that is exactly that. So they understand that and encourage it. I mean, obviously, like churches are beautiful spaces and some of them are massively underused. So we thought, why not try it out?
And this area of London, we're in East London in Clapton, it's renowned for a lot of creative people, a lot of really hip, cool people. Is that the kind of audience that you bring in?
Well, we pride ourselves with having a very diverse crowd. As you'll see tonight, the age bracket goes from 20 to 60 and from all different backgrounds and ethnicity and sexuality. We're quite happy with that. There are hipsters, of course, because at the end of the day, we're in East London. We get a bit of everyone, really.
Well, this has become a bit of a cult thing and it's getting bigger and you're expanding. So it's not just London, is it? You've been doing shows in other parts of Europe. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so actually this month we were invited to do a first Church of Sound in Brussels in a beautiful church that had been turned into a theatre. So they had all the logistics for it and almost more so than us, like they were kind of prepared. And so that was with this artist called Kahil El-Zabar and the Ethnic Heritage Ensemble. And then last week we did our first one in Paris with Angel Bad David, who's a clarinetist and composer. We really want to also connect with those different cultures and see if there's cross-pollinations that can happen. Many times here in London, we've collaborated with people from South Africa. We've got now an artist from Chicago. And later, we've got another drummer from Brazil. And we love mixing London musicians with people from different countries and putting them in a context where they feel free to have the time and space to kind of experiment and try new things.
You've been part of the fabric of London's music scene for a while. What have you seen change in terms of the jazz world?
I've been here for 15 years. I came here to study originally because I'm originally from Paris. And I was always a fan of jazz. And when I came to England, I was kind of looking for those places to see jazz. And I struggled. There was no many places for young people to go and enjoy jazz. Now jazz is everywhere. You can see jazz in clubs. It's played on radio everywhere. There's a lot bigger understanding of jazz and now people dance to it in clubs and everything. So it's completely changed.
Where do you think that is? Where has that come from?
I think this new generation that has taken the scene by storm has been informed by the club culture. They're informed by Afrobeat and grime and all this music that talks to young people. And also it's thanks to many different actors in this industry. There's also radio broadcasters that brought them to the front. It's just been a step-by-step evolution. And I think everyone from that scene, not only the musicians, but people who do artworks and promoters and producers have all grown together into this and have helped each other build this scene and to make it what it is now.
Thank you, Lex. Before we speak to tonight's headline act, I have a question for you. Do you know what a cowmungo is? Any guesses? Well, you're about to find out. South Korean quartet Black String are 3 Korean traditional musicians and a jazz guitarist who, for the past 9 years, have been refining their fascinating, genre-busting sound. Led by Young Jon-ha, the group have performed all over the world and have just released their second album, Karma. Let's get a flavour of their music.
My name is Yoon Jong-ha. I'm a cowmungo player. Our sound is very unique because 3 members play Korean traditional instrument and 1 electronic guitars and electronic sounds. We connect with jazz because the spiritual music and Korean traditional music also very strong for improvisation and interactive playing. Even Korea, people don't know about the Korean traditional music. They cannot meet often the Korean traditional music from the broadcast or concert or even schools. So we would like to bring our ancient sound to modern society, modern time now. My instrument, cowmungo, is very old instrument, ancient instrument. We can find this instrument from the 84th centuries. The shape is a rectangle and 6 strings, kind of a string instrument and percussion. Because I hold the sticks and then hit down the instrument. So the sound is really, really strong and powerful. Black string means simply my instrument, 검은고. And second meaning is black means in Asian philosophy, so many meanings on this color, black. Black is all color get together, mixed together, and then black means eternal time and universe and something mysterious.
Yoon Jong-ha from South Korean quartet Black String. Finally, on today's Arts Hour, coming to you from behind the scenes at the EFG London Jazz Festival, we have New York-based trumpeter and composer Jamie Branch. She grew up in Chicago, was shaped by both punk and free jazz, and broke through in 2017 with her album Fly or Die, a record filled with rough-edged but beautiful compositions which made it onto all kinds of prestigious Best of the Year lists. Jamie's had a strong connection with London for a few years now. Her latest album, Fly or Die 2, was even recorded here. Before she takes to the stage tonight, I wanted to ask her about the jazz surge.
We're seeing young people kind of come to the music again in a way maybe in the past 10 or 15 years it had kind of waned a little bit. I think a lot of it actually is kind of a backlash against this technology that we're living in, because jazz is a very real, honest, visceral music. And while we're all staring at these screens all day and looking at each other through filters, everything can feel very convoluted and just fake.
Years, I mean, the trend is always up, and that puts a huge pressure on local services, on the placements of children. So you're getting to the problem of unregulated placements for teenage children who are being put into care, and the main problem is that the research shows that children who have been in care, in the current care system, have really quite a poor life expectancy. The Ministry of Justice asked me to do a review on prisoners' family relationships because of the very high rate of reoffending, and also the intergenerational transmission of crime from parent to child, which was actually running over 60%, and the reoffending rate was running at 43%. But they found that family visits reduce that reoffending rate by 39%.
So what needs to happen now, first of all? I mean, you presumably have influence as a Conservative peer.
Well, I'm backbench, but I can open my mouth, yes.
What needs to happen?
Well, there needs to be a change in the culture. And when I say that, there needs to be an emphasis on the importance of relationships. The care system, as indeed the prison system, but the care system, has the emphasis on housing, on education, on health, on safety. However, a child going into care has come from probably a broken down family. There may have been alcohol problems, domestic abuse problems, whatever. And they go into a situation where there are not these sort of committed, unconditional relationships.
I mean, many people would say that the problem with much of our criminal justice system, and obviously this is not just people related to crime, is simply that the squeeze of austerity has been too great and there's not sufficient resourcing. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't think I would. It's easy to always say money is the answer. Money is not the answer. If we were to just build more homes for children in care, you're accepting the fact that there are going to be more and more children needing care. We need to get to prevention. We need to get to the area where local councils are incentivized to actually work with families who are on the edge of, if you like, chaos, the sort of troubled families area and beyond, in order to prevent there are courses to prevent domestic violence, alcoholism, all these things. Keep families together, keep the children out of care. It's much better for everybody, including the child.
Okay, Lord Farmer, let's hope you do get a government review of the situation. Thank you very much indeed. Lots more to come in All Out Politics in the next hour, including Trump in Davos. This is All Out Politics coming up in the next hour. Terror crackdown, offenders to face tougher sentences and greater monitoring under new government plans.
These individuals obviously are responsible for some of the worst offences and terrible crimes that affect individuals but also our society and our country.
We'll have the latest from Downing Street as Boris Johnson's cabinet meets this morning. Also today, President Trump has jetted into Davos to talk business, as questions remain over whether he will appear at his own impeachment trial, which is due to get underway in Washington, D.C. later. Labour leadership contenders will make their pitches to the unions this morning as the GMB prepares to pick a candidate. And Prince Harry arrives on Vancouver Island to begin his new life with his wife Meghan and baby Archie. Good morning, welcome to All Out Politics, our second hour of news, debate and opinion from the heart of Westminster. Terrorists could be forced to take a lie detector test to prove they have reformed and aren't planning another attack. That's under new government plans. It's part of a number of new measures to reform the way terrorists are punished and monitored, including tougher jail sentences.
This is a package of measures around sentencing, around licensing conditions, around probation, but effectively how the counter-terrorism package comes together for sentencing, for prison, and how we effectively deal with the offender management of these individuals that obviously are responsible for some of the worst offences and terrible crimes that affect individuals, but also our society and our country.
Well, the Cabinet is meeting this morning and our political correspondent Tamara Cohen is in Downing Street for us. These terror measures, how draconian are they?
Well, in the hours after the London Bridge terror attack in November, Boris Johnson made clear that he thought terrorists should be locked up for longer and no longer eligible for early release. So the details we've got today are that for the most serious terror offenders, they will have mandatory 14-year jail terms. They will not be able to leave prison early, as is the case for other criminals. The government also want to put more money into what happens to these terrorists while they are in prison. For example, more money for specialist psychologists and specialist imams. But the message from Robert Buckland, the Justice Secretary, this morning is that there are some people who cannot be rehabilitated. Therefore, they need to be in prison for longer, and there needs to be more effort put into monitoring them when they come out of prison as well. Now, the government are putting a bit of money behind this. They want to put £90 million into more counter-terror policing, but when pressed on it, they conceded that that will be part of the 20,000 police officers that we heard about from Boris Johnson during the election period, which should take several years to come on stream. But one of the more eye-catching bits of this announcement is that part of monitoring of terror offenders when they leave prison will be done through lie detector tests, which the government say have been used for sex offenders, for example, in the past. This is what Robert Buckland said to us this morning.
I think the introduction of polygraphs, the lie testing devices which are already being used in sex offenders, improves the tools that we have in terms of trying to assess the risk, to minimise that risk. I can't say that I can eliminate it. That would be, extraordinary claim to make. All we can do is to lower it, minimise it, contain it, and then when there are people who are capable of moving on and being rehabilitated, to work with them to address the causes of their extremism and to get them out of that mindset and into a safer place.
So, Tamara, how long will it likely be before these laws are actually on the statute book?
Well, the government say they're going to publish this bill in March, so that is pretty quick, really. They say it's not indecently quick. They needed to act quickly after that terrorist attack, so if it takes a few weeks for that legislation to go through the House of Commons, we could be looking at it happening potentially this year. So they want to be shown to be doing something quickly. We know that tackling crime and being tough on crime is a big part of what Boris Johnson wants to do now that he has this big majority. The government are alert to criticism that cuts to police over the last 10 years or so have perhaps been counterproductive, and they want to show that they're putting much more effort into it. But the question will be, there are only 225 terror offenders in our jails and about another 70 on licence, so putting a lot of resource into this area. What about other incidences of violent crime, knife crime that are rising at the moment? So that will be the question asked. Also, of course, this is an issue of sensitivity because the father of one of those victims of London Bridge, David Merritt, has spoken out this morning saying that he's worried that particularly the lie detector issue is a bit of cynical headline grabbing, and he wants to hear more about how people are actually going to be kept safe.
Tamara Cohen in Downing Street, thank you very much indeed. The teenage climate change activist Greta Thunberg has called on richer nations to take more leadership in limiting global carbon dioxide emissions. Speaking on a panel of young activists at the opening of the World Economic Forum in Davos, she said, if current emissions levels persist, we have less than 8 years before global temperatures will rise by more than 1.5 degrees, causing irreversible damage.
Richer countries need to get down to zero emissions much faster and then help poorer countries do the same so that people in less fortunate parts of the world can raise their living standards. And why is it so important to stay below 1.5 degrees Celsius? Because even at 1 degree, people are dying from climate change. Because that is what the United Science calls for, to avoid destabilizing the climate so that we have the best possible chance to avoid setting off irreversible chain reactions. Every fraction of a degree matters.
I'll speak to our economics editor, Ed Conway, who is at the World Economic Forum. And Ed, hard to think of more of a contrast on the menu for the Masters of the Universe at Davos than, on the one hand, Greta Thunberg, on the other, President Donald Trump.
It is, isn't it, Adam? I mean, we are here now live inside the World Economic Forum. This is the main atrium where people meet, whether it's business leaders, politicians, campaigners from around the world, and you can see there is quite a thronging crowd behind me here. These are all the people waiting to perhaps to get a glimpse of the US President Donald Trump as he arrives here at the World Economic Forum for his appearance. That's due in a few moments' time. He'll be talking just over there in that Congress hall you see over there. And it is interesting, isn't it? You know, this is an area, this is a place where a lot of people here were very sceptical about Donald Trump. You know, this is a very globalist audience. You've got people who are very socially liberal. They are concerned about climate change. And yet, well, if the US president comes, they want to see him. And that includes actually Greta Thunberg, who I understand is there in the Congress hall waiting in the audience to listen to Donald Trump speaking in a few moments' time. So we will have them in the same room. Whether there'll be any contact between the two of them, we will have to wait and see. But of course, climate change, one of the big issues on the agenda here at the World Economic Forum. What Donald Trump says about it is another question. And of course, what he says about his impeachment trial, which is beginning in the States today in earnest, is another question as well. So lots of questions for Donald Trump. But here, where the Masters of the Universe come together, it is one of those interesting moments where you're converging someone like Donald Trump, the US president, and Greta Thunberg, the climate activist, and whether they coincide, whether they talk to each other, we will have to see. But over the course of the next few days, we will see many of the world's richest, most powerful, most influential people here in Davos in Switzerland trying to talk about many of those issues. So it'll be an interesting one, Adam.
Yeah, and Ed, the front of the Financial Times today is suggesting that concern about an economic downturn is really eclipsing matters such as concern about climate change. Would you say that's fair from the people you've been hearing from?
Well, I don't know. I mean, so yesterday you had the International Monetary Fund doing their latest update on the state of the global economy, and it certainly wasn't especially positive, but there was a very slight upgrade in a number of countries, thanks to what they say is a kind of a fall in uncertainty. So the likelihood of a hard Brexit slightly diminishing, the trade deal between the US and China starting to materialise. So there are concerns, and in fact, last time around, a lot of people were worried about the possibility of a global recession. It doesn't seem like that's transpired, and people seem a tiny bit more optimistic. And so the upshot is that climate change is part of the big focus here, as of course are those noises off. Of course, the impeachment trial beginning in Washington, and whether Donald Trump has anything to say about it, or indeed whether he's here in Switzerland to try to distract attention away from it. We'll see whether he's challenged on any of that, and precisely what he says in his speech. You never know with Donald Trump. In a few moments' time, he's about to arrive. He'll be walking through this atrium behind me, talking perhaps to some of the people waiting for him here, and then going on the stage alongside Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum. It's actually the 50th year of the forum. It's a kind of extraordinary event. Some people are sceptical about it. Other people sing its praises, but certainly what it does, without doubt, is bring people from around the world and attract their attention. A lot of people looking at Donald Trump, looking at Greta Thunberg, and looking at many of the other luminaries, politicians, business people meeting here in Davos this week. So it's going to be fascinating over the course of the next few hours, the next few days, to see what happens on that front.
It will indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Ed, and we'll be back to Davos when Donald Trump starts speaking. Here, the race to replace Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader, it continues. All 5 candidates have been invited to a hustings event by the GMB Trade Union's Central Executive Council today. And we can speak now to Sky's Joe Pike, our newest member of the political team. He's at the Trades Union Congress House in central London, where that event is due to take place. And really, the GMB nomination could actually be decisive as to how many people get into the final runoff when members vote, couldn't it?
It really could, Adam, and for Lisa Nandy, this is sort of make or break, possibly for her. 4 of the 5 leadership candidates have arrived here to make their pitch. One of them hasn't, that is Jess Phillips. In the last few minutes, we've been told she will not be turning up here. It's not yet clear why, but certainly I think she was unlikely to win the support of this trade union. Sources within the GMB have told me they're unlikely also to back a continuity Corbyn candidate. That sounds like a bit of a dig at Rebecca Long-Bailey, who of course is close to the outgoing Labour leader. So they're most likely to back either Keir Starmer, the shadow Brexit secretary, or Lisa Nandy, the Wigan MP. I spoke to both of them when they arrived here today.
We've got the hustings, we've got very good candidates, so I'm going to go in and give it my best.
What's your key message going to be?
That the Labour Party and the trade unions need to be shoulder to shoulder. Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of friends in that room and working out how we rebuild the Labour Party.
And what's your pitch? Now, Keir Starmer already has 2 of the 4 big unions. He got USDA yesterday and previously Unite. I spoke to Len McCluskey, who was walking past here, of course, the General Secretary of Unite. He thinks that Rebecca Long-Bailey will probably be their candidate. He's not said who they're backing, but we assume, Rebecca Long-Bailey will be the candidate they will pick. Therefore, today is Lisa Nandy's big chance to get the support of the GMB union. And if she does, it unlocks this second phase of the process. It's almost like a golden ticket to the third and final part of the race. And we'll find out, Adam, who this union are backing around 3 p.m.
Joe Pike, thank you very much indeed. Well, the Labour Party is calling for a national task force reporting directly to the Prime Minister to fix the ongoing crisis of buildings cloaked in deadly cladding following the Grenfell Tower fire. Under the proposal, a new national fire safety task force would conduct an audit of every at-risk building. And joining me now is Labour's Shadow Housing Minister, Sarah Jones. Welcome to you indeed. Isn't that what the fire brigade and fire officers are supposed to do anyway?
Absolutely not. I mean, what's happened since the Grenfell Tower fire, which was 2.5 years ago, I mean, we've got a debate in Parliament today, 2.5 years on from that tragic fire where 72 people died, is the government has been off the pace and slow to react at every single level, and they haven't got a grip with what has become a huge emerging problem. So the first issue was the families, of course, and the people who lived in the immediate area. How do they get rehoused? How do they get looked after and supported? The second issue was, what about the cladding that's on all these other buildings that's exactly the same as the Grenfell style cladding? And 9 in 10 of the private blocks that are covered in this cladding are still covered, 2.5 years on, still covered in this cladding. There's then a wider issue of other forms of materials that potentially are dangerous. We think there's about 10,000 blocks that need to be checked, that haven't been checked, and people are living trapped because they can't sell their flats, they can't move, they can't insure their buildings because they don't know, they don't have the paperwork to show that their buildings are safe. And even wider than that is the problem of whether or not we should be retrofitting these tall tower blocks with sprinklers and fire doors, and whether or not we should also be looking at care homes, schools, places where vulnerable people live that aren't tall blocks. And there's this huge crisis that has just been bubbling along over the last 2.5 years, and the government have completely failed to get a grip of it.
Do you get any sense that there is a change or a review or a possible fresh start under a newly elected majority government?
Well, we thought the Prime Minister was going to do the debate today. Turns out he's not, which is not a good sign. We've had, 3 Secretaries of State in the last couple of years since the Grenfell Tower fire. So every time someone comes in, they say they're going to get a grip of the problem, and then they move on somewhere else because actually they're all part of the kind of movement of ministers that has happened over the last few years. So Robert Jenrick, to his credit, has said he wants to get a grip of this problem, but he has not got a grip of the problem. The Treasury have not got a grip of the problem. The Home Office and the Fire Service, the whole machinery of government needs bringing together, because we have probably about 600,000 people who are either living in unsafe homes or homes they cannot sell because they can't, their flats are worth nothing because nobody knows if they're safe or not. And that is the first job of government, to make sure people are safe, and they are failing across the board.
And who should pay for the changes that are necessary?
Well, the government have said they will pay for the removal of ACM cladding, that's the Grenfell-style cladding, but the numbers of those blocks are increasing all the time. They keep finding new blocks that are covered in that cladding, and where people are applying for that funding, they're mired in legal wranglings, so the money's not being paid out. The government need to take responsibility for the entire building system. We need new legislation, and we need them to get a grip of this problem.
Of course, in the constituency where Grenfell Tower is, the Conservatives took back the seat.
Yes, they did. They did. And, you know, we know that the council failed in that immediate response to what happened. We know that there were families who were let down that are still being let down
I mean,
today.
my point is voters seem to have some trust in Conservatives, Conservative council, Conservative MP now.
Well, we know we lost the election, right? That's absolutely true. And it's therefore incumbent on us as the opposition to try and point out the massive failings. You can ask 600,000 people across the country whether they feel safe in their homes and whether they want to sell their homes, whether they've got the freedom to do so, and they will tell you the government is not acting fast enough. And so we have a responsibility to highlight those issues.
Who are you backing to take on Boris Johnson?
Keir Starmer.
Why?
He's absolutely forensic in Parliament. He's been brilliant holding the government to account over the last few years. His record as the Director of Public Prosecutions, running a business that's, you know, got 8,000 people, taking really difficult decisions and sticking by them and seeing them through. And also, he's genuinely a man who has no interest in factions. He wants to bring everyone together, and that is an absolute joy. And I think he would be, you know, all the candidates are good, to be fair, but I think he's
But why not Lisa Nandy? I mean, the GMB apparently are considering backing Lisa Nandy.
I think, as your clip showed, the GMB are deciding potentially between Lisa Nandy and Keir Starmer. For me, Keir is the man with the experience. He's the one who's got the leadership. He's the one who's going to bring people together. He's the one who's looking to, you know, beyond some of the smaller arguments about why we lost the election, and looking to how on earth do we get back, you know, Scotland? How do we get back Wales? How do we get back those whole swathes of the country that we don't have Labour seats in? And I think his ability to understand the issues but then translate them in a way that people resonate with.
I mean, she's the one who spotted that there was a problem in northern towns, for example.
Well, and the problems that Lisa will have in some of her parts of Wigan will be the same problem that I have in some of the parts of Croydon. You can't label an entire area thinking one thing and an entire area thinking another. We need to be doing things like talking about violent crime has doubled under the Conservatives. You are less safe living under a Conservative government than a Labour government, and we didn't make that case enough in the general election. Those are the things that people care about: housing, what we're talking about, homelessness, those issues that people actually talk about in their real lives. We didn't talk about enough, and I think that's what Keir will do. He'll listen to what people are saying and he'll respond and come up with something that we can believe in.
Sarah Jones, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
You're watching All Out Politics. Coming up next, we'll look ahead to President Trump's impeachment trial, which is due to begin later today.
Lifting off and launching towards a new chapter in the space race. The final test of the SpaceX craft. Just over a minute in, and at supersonic speeds, the abort is triggered.
Miko, Dragon launch escape initiated.
Starting thrusters which propel the capsule away.
And you can hear some really loud...
Moments later, the rocket breaks up.
And there they are. Drogue chutes are out.
And the capsule parachutes to safety.
It looked beautiful. We all loved watching it, but now the work begins. This, of course, represents us returning American astronauts to space on American rockets from American soil. So this is a great opportunity for us to once again lead.
For years, NASA astronauts have relied on Russian rockets, which is why this project is a major milestone.
The U.S. has been unable to launch our own astronauts into space since 2011 when we retired the space shuttle. So it's been 9 years, coming up on 10 years since we've had that capability. And so this is a big deal.
Catastrophic failure is a scenario NASA never wants to see, but it has to be tested before people are put on board.
This is hugely significant. A successful test will mean that that's really the last hurdle for SpaceX in sending humans into space. And the next time we see these images and that splashdown of the Crew Dragon, there will be US astronauts on board.
SpaceX is owned by billionaire Elon Musk, his company working with NASA to fly astronauts to and from the International Space Station. This could now happen within months, a giant leap for NASA and a pivotal point in space exploration. Laura Bundock, Sky News.
Well, Donald Trump's impeachment trial is getting underway later today in the US Senate in his absence. The president himself is currently in Davos at the World Economic Forum. He's about to give a speech there, and there are questions over whether he'll go to the trial at all. He is due to speak in the next few minutes, and we will bring you that live. Joining me, though, from Mumbai is James D. Zarin. He's the author of this book, Plaintiff in Chief, a portrait of Donald Trump in 3,500 lawsuits. And here in Westminster, I'm joined by the Republican commentator Stacey Hilliard-Cork. Welcome to you both. Mr. Zarin, as you write in your book, Donald Trump is no stranger to lawsuits. Is this yet another trial that he'll manage to turn to his favour?
Quite possibly. It is not really a trial in the conventional sense, because the procedure is ruled by the Senate, and the Republicans control the majority in the Senate, so they control the rules. And secondly, it takes a 2/3 vote to convict. And with the Republican majority such as it is, it will undoubtedly result in his acquittal.
Is that okay? Is that the way it goes, or are the senators who would be responsible for this actually violating their duties to the United States in being so partisan?
Well, that's an issue. They take a special oath fairly to try the issue and to do justice. And the question is, will they rise to that occasion and respond to the law and the facts, or will they simply vote their party and vote to acquit the president, viewing the charges as being the product of Democratic partisan action?
He's only the third US president to be impeached. Do you agree with those who say that this, in law, is the strongest case against the president we've yet seen?
I think so, because it involves the conduct of foreign policy, while the prior two impeachments of Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton involved domestic matters. And there's a real question here of a threat to national security based on Trump's holding up the aid to the Ukraine appropriated by Congress in order to obtain an announcement of an investigation into his political opponent, Joe Biden.
Stacey Hilliard-Cork, I mean, in that case, if it is such a serious charge, shouldn't the Republicans doing their duty, Republican senators, actually hang up their partisan hat?
Well, I think you would see the Republican senators saying that they are doing their duty. Putting forward the procedures today is what you're going to see everybody voting on. But the Democrats, what you'll see them mostly voting on today is trying to get witnesses. Can they call more witnesses in public into the Senate during the trial? And that's what the big debate is about at the moment. Republicans are saying that if Congress had truly done their duty previously to bring these articles of impeachment forward, that they should have brought these witnesses before. If they were so critical to the case, they should have brought them before.
But as you know, the witnesses were refusing to appear.
Well, they're trying to find, I think what will happen is they'll have a halfway house where they do depositions, where they have selective videotapes, much like they did in the Clinton.
But wouldn't most people say in something as serious as this, you should hear from witnesses, you should hear from the president?
And I think that they'll find that halfway house where they have some sort of arrangement, how they had with the Clinton administration with the impeachment hearing there, where they had depositions that were videoed and then people brought forward.
What do you think, Mr. Zarin, about this question of witnesses and indeed evidence from Donald Trump himself?
Yes, well, it's impossible. It's highly doubtful there'll be evidence from Donald Trump himself. although one would think if he had evidence that would cause his acquittal or would exonerate him, he'd come forward with that evidence. I doubt he'll present any evidence. He'll only present legal arguments. But it's hard to conceive of a trial without witnesses. And it is certainly common practice for a prosecutor to present evidence at trial that wasn't necessarily before the grand jury. And evidence has emerged since the filing of the articles of impeachment. You have the finding of the Government Accounting Office that Trump violated the law in failing to appropriate funds that had been designated by a bipartisan vote of Congress, and refusing to release those funds even though they had been appropriated. And you have the testimony of Rudy Giuliani's associate, who's under indictment in New York, and he has indicated that Trump was in and on the entire scheme, although there was testimony to that effect before Congress, the entire scheme to exchange or barter an investigation against Biden for holding up aid to Ukraine.
I mean, he may not be convicted, but he is banged to rights, isn't he? I mean, he did try and levy aid against getting political favours from a foreign government.
Well, what you would hear the Republicans continually say, and I think those people who support him, is that, oh, this probably goes on all the time in the background. This is how foreign relations work. They leverage different levers that they have. And so I think a lot of people have given an excuse who support Trump. The defense that you will continually hear from the Republicans in the Senate is a lot of this was hearsay. There hasn't been concrete evidence. The aid money was released for defense, and there was no investigation into Biden. So there's no grounds for the quid pro quo accusation against the president. So having that not be concrete makes it very difficult for them.
How strong do you think that defense is, Mr. Zarin?
Well, the fact that the funds were eventually released is really no defense, because an offer of a bribe or the solicitation of a bribe would be a criminal act. And that would be enough, even though the bribe wasn't paid. So there's more than enough evidence of quid pro quo. The hearsay is a total red herring, because there were people like Ambassador Sondland, who testified before the House of Representatives, who had direct conversations with Trump, both over the telephone and in person. There was the aide to Ambassador Sondland, who overheard the conversation, where Trump said what mattered to him was the announcement of an investigation against the Bidens, and then he would release the aid. The facts here are not in serious dispute. It's not a fact kind of case. It's a case where you might make arguments as to whether this is an impeachable offense. In my view, it is an impeachable offense. Bribery is mentioned in the Constitution as a ground for impeachment, and here you do have bribery. And secondly, the abuse of presidential power is the reason we have an impeachment clause in the first place. And the founders of the country talked about the abuse of presidential power as the reason for the impeachment clause. And here you surely have an abuse of presidential power when he's soliciting something of personal value for himself in exchange for the release of monies that had been appropriated by Congress.
I mean, Stacey, doesn't this really show that in polarized America.
Wow, amazing! One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness. So what did that? Myself and the world in adjust. And 2019, forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
I believe in the sun.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do
angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Starr Radio UK. This and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
people's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people. Today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Program brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Program this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
Okay, well, hello, welcome to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Especially those of you on other planets as well. We salute you all. Hello. Have you managed to translate what hello means in your dialect or whatever you say? Or your language? Have you got an English teacher there? If you don't have it, you can get one from Earth. Okay, so welcome to the Tuesday edition of the morning show on Starr Radio UK. Of course, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Time now is 10:37. Today is the 21st of January 2020. So far, so good. In the next 10 days' time, UK will be leaving the EU officially. We will be Brexiting. As Harry and Meghan have Mexited. Well, the UK will also be Brexiting. We would have Brexited. Though negotiation still goes on, we'll see what happens. Once again, I welcome you to the program. Of course, I am Archie. That's a good morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Frank Davids, to Mr. OLAYOMI and the dream team for this morning. Wherever you are, gentlemen, good morning. Let's say good morning to Pastor Emmanuel Chidi. Thank you very much, man of God, for joining us once again. Mr. Kofi Ali, Ambassador Light for ECOWAS, good morning. Mr. Theophilus Teko, aka TT, good morning. I don't know, Freddie, long time no here. I hope you are doing very well. Good morning to you, Freddie. And let me say good morning to Mr. Yawin Tama Free, Mr. Free, Mama Wache. Oh, Henny back of you this until he's in Mamuna Chill. Good morning to Felix all the way in Aberdeen. Dr. Morton, good morning. Paransa Kujo, good morning. Rodaline Kwevi, massive good morning to you. Arnold Mbeng Obi, good morning, Arnold. Nina Flora, good morning. Francis Moore, good morning to you. Victor Mante, good morning. Akofa Zivenu, wherever you are, good morning to you. And thank you very much for tuning in this morning to listen to us and watch us live on Starr Radio UK, where all the information that is making the rounds in the world, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, as I say, if it's making the headlines, of course we're bringing it your way. 10:40 is the time. Let me say good morning to Auntie Mary, Mrs. Mary Bruce, Mom, good morning to you, Apostle HP, Apostle Hendrik Bruce, and all members of Bible Life Family Ministries, we salute you. Kebby Bossman, good morning. But I can do it better. Let me give you a proper welcome.
Welcome.
Your first time listening to us on Starr Radio UK by what program outline? I'll be bringing you the quote for the day, the weather forecast, and then the travel updates. Bringing you some lovely music during the course of the morning. But exactly at 11 o'clock, we have no other one than Mr. OLAYOMI. reporting live from an investment conference that is taking place here in London. You know, we have some African countries or leaders who are here to for an African summit in the UK. Well, yesterday we had the Prime Minister meeting them and various things. We had Prince Harry and in his last official duties also being there. I mean, giving a speech there as well. We know that he's on his way now, or he is in Canada at the moment. But we have our own Mr. OLAYOMI who will be reporting live from this summit, investment summit that is taking place. So make sure you stay glued to your sets. And we got a few other gentlemen who have also attended this conference. Let me say a special good morning to Pastor Ogbami. He's the Director of Securities and Exchange Services. Try to see whether we can get him today or tomorrow. We'll be bringing him on. That's Starr Radio UK for you. 10:43 the time. Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, the program. Now when it comes to the quote for the day, it says, as you become successful, a small character flaw, if not checked, can easily be magnified as you rise to the top. I'll take that one again, and it is very, very important. Now, as you become successful, a small character flaw, if not checked, can easily be magnified as you rise to the top. So how do you deal with that? Starr Radio UK. Now, on the weather front, for London and the southeast of England, it's going to be early patches of fog and low cloud will gradually lift to leave a dry day with sunny intervals. However, some places will stay cloudy all day, light northeasterly winds as well. Now, a mostly dry and cloudy evening, although there will be the occasional clear spells, possibly patchy fog or low cloud forming in the small hours. A mild night. So when it comes to the temperature today is going to be 4 degrees, the lowest is going to be 6 degrees, the lowest is going to be 4 degrees. Better, milder than it's been of late. But now daytime is cooler than yesterday, of course. Now UV level is going to be low and pollution is going to be low as well. The sunset is going to be at 16:30 and sunrise for tomorrow morning is going to be at 07:54 hours. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 10:44 is the time. I'll be taking you to the roads. Just hit 10:45. Commercial break and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Okay, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and it's time for your travel update. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the road. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. This is Ghana, my people right here. Big shout out to all the people in Africa.
Well, keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll on the Starr Radio UK travel update that comes your way every weekday from 10:45. Now, those of you watching us on Facebook and on some of our Facebook transmission, you will see where Mr. OLAYOMI is at the moment, where at the summit that is taking place, Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit that is taking place, where we have the President of Ghana giving an address at the moment. But I will be taking you to that in a jiffy because we have Mr. Olayami Konki there. It's actually at 11 o'clock. But now, just keep your eyes on the roads. Quickly, let's see what is happening on our travels this morning. On the travels this morning, on the Bakerloo underground this morning, good service throughout. We have the Bakerloo line that has got a bit of delays there. So, severe delays due to a faulty train at Elephant and Castle. Tickets are being accepted on London buses and London Overground. Now, moving on to the river bus this morning. RB1, RB1S, RB2, RB4, RB5, RB6, Woolwich Ferry are all in good service. Now, on the National Rail this morning, interestingly, I can tell you assuredly that there is no incident on the National Rail. Whew, that is a good one. But keep your eyes on the roads. As and when there are any changes, we'll bring it to your knowledge. It is Starr Radio UK. Now finally moving on to the major roads in London. A10 has got closures, A4 closures, Central London Red Routes closures, North Circular A406 closures, A13 serious delays, A21 serious delays, A3 serious delays, and A40 serious delays, South Circular A205 serious delays there as well. And as I say all the time, well. That brings us to the end of the travel update for you today. Tuesday, the 21st day of January 2020. As they say, in the year of our Lord. And I say, enjoy your commute wherever you are this morning, this afternoon, this evening, this dawn, wherever you are. But continue to keep your eyes on the road.
Hello, good people. I'm back again, and this time it's about Mama's Choice Fufu Mix. It comes in 2 flavors, and it contains essential minerals and vitamins. It's gluten-free. You can grab one from the nearest Afro-Caribbean shop or the corner shop next to you. Insist it's Mama's Choice. It's certified by both the US and the UK Food Standard Board. Grab one for yourself today. Mama's Choice. Baby Sa Charlie.
I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing. One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness. So what did that myself and the world will adjust? And 2019,
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
I believe in the sun.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Star Radio UK. This and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
People's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people. Today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Programme brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Programme this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Star Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Star Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the people. You are listening to Star Radio Morning Show.
Welcome back to the program. It is now gone 7 minutes to the top of the hour. Before we take our first music, let me acknowledge a couple of people who have joined us. And Mr. Kingsley Osei, wherever you are, massive good morning to you. And welcome to Star Radio UK. Jenkins, good morning. Lovely name. Yes. So, listeners, Star Radio UK. Share the page with your friends and loved ones and invite your friends and loved ones to like our pages as well. We take the first song from Nathaniel Bassi and it says, Strong Tower. Wherever you are, may God be a strong tower for you today, wherever you are and in whatever things that you are doing. Yes, enjoy it and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. To you belong all power, Jesus. Whenever I call your name, you always come and make a way. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. To you belong all power, Jesus. Whenever I call your name, you make a way. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. To you belong all power, Jesus. Hey, whenever I call your name, you make a way. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. When we pray in the name of Jesus, every knee must bow. When we pray in the name of Jesus, every knee must bow. When we pray in the name of Jesus, every knee
You will come and make a way when we call on the name of Jesus. You will come and make a way. Your name is a waymaker, Jesus. Waymaker, I call your name. To you belongs all power, Jesus. Whenever I call your name, you never disappoint me. Make a way. Your name is a waymaker, Jesus. Your name is a waymaker. Your name is a waymaker, Jesus. To you belong all power, Jesus. Whenever I call your name, you make a way. Your name is a waymaker, Jesus. Jesus, the midnight hour. Jesus, the raging storm. Jesus, the troubled water. Jesus, whenever I call your name, you make a way. Your name is a waymaker, Jesus. Call my name now. Jesus, you're my shield and buckler. Jesus, that is who you are. Jesus, you're my horn of power. Jesus, you're the great I am. When I call your name, make a way. Your name is a waymaker, Jesus. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. To you belong all power, Jesus. Whenever I call your name, make a way. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. To you belong all power, Jesus. Whenever I call your name, make a way. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. Your name is a Jesus. Jesus. To you belong all Jesus. Jesus. Whenever I call your name, you're gonna make a way. Your name is a strong tower, Jesus. Your name is a Jesus. Emmanuel, Jesus. To you belong all Jesus. Hello, good people. I'm back again, and this time it's about Mama's Choice Fufu Mix. It comes in 2 flavors, and it contains essential minerals and vitamins. It's gluten-free. You can grab one from the nearest Afro-Caribbean shop or the corner shop next to you. Insist it's Mama's Choice. It's certified by both the US and the UK Food Standard Boards. Grab one for yourself today. Mama's Choice. We beg you, sir, Charlie.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired. Yes! How do you get the energy to do that? I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing. One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness. So what did that myself and the world will adjust? And 2019,
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
I believe
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Starr Radio UK. This and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
people's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people, today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Program brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Program this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
Listen to Regina Abban and Lady Caroline every Monday from 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Point at Starr Radio UK, where we educate the youth and young adults on life issues.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. 6 minutes past 11 is the time. In the next few minutes, we'll be having Ms. OLAYOMI Koiki joining us. And I'll be having an East African, East Anglian businesswoman declaring that Africa is open for business. So we'll be trying to have a chat with her. Who this lady is, how does she see, and how some people are complaining about some challenges when they go to do investment in Africa and stuff like that, and how come that she's been able to penetrate or gotten through with her business that she's now declaring that look, Africa is open for business. We will having Ms. OLAYOMI Koiki and then this wonderful Anglian businesswoman, East Anglian businesswoman, with us in a jiffy. But at the moment, I've got Ms. OLAYOMI Koiki, who is at the Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit that is taking place in London. But let me go to him and let's see where he is. Yomi, good morning to you.
Very good morning, Mr. Archie, and very good morning to all of our viewers from around the world, and welcome again to another morning show at a very beautiful place where we'll be telling you a little bit. I'm sure those on our timeline must probably have located where we are, but I can tell you quite amazing energy where we are transmitting from Starr Radio UK this morning, and I'll go back now to you in the studio.
Okay. How have you been? How was your travel this morning getting to the venue?
Well, first thing you've got to remember is this is a very busy week for Africa, and also a lot of friends of Africa, as we might want to call them, because Africa is the destination, as we've been told. Africa is where the investment is. By 2050, we'll be having about the population of African youth is going to be growing out in proportion. I heard that also from the Ghana president this morning. But I left home, just before 7 o'clock this morning, just to get out of the traffic. Even though I love traveling on the bus, because one thing about the bus network is it gives you time to do so many things, like going on the underground, buy stopping place and all that. We got back home at about very late this morning, just about 1 o'clock. Like I said, it's a very busy week, but Starr Radio UK is trying to get as many, of those that are in here. Yesterday, we had an opportunity to engage with the President of the Republic of Congo and Kenya as well. We'll be telling you all that, throughout this week. But right now, we are in where the Ghana is trying to bring in the investors into Ghana. We'll go back straight to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, that is updates from Nigeria. But this time, broadcasting live from the UK here. We know that this week we've had leaders of some African countries having a summit here with the British government. Okay, we know we teetering towards the end of we leaving the EU. That's Brexit is going to be taking place by the 31st of January. So we see what is going to be happening. But what has the participation been like?
Well, the participation, I could tell you, the room is fully, booked up. I'm looking at about more than 500 people. And as you can see, this is the lobby area where people are networking. A lot of exhibitors down here as well. And I can also tell you, there's been a good deal that has been signed here by the Credit Suisse and the Nexon Bank, close to about $100 million US. And all that is something that will be at an advantage for a lot of our people back in Africa, where that money will be needed more to be able to use it for, the project that everybody wants to take on. But like I said, they're breaking up at the moment. A very busy place. But right now, I will just leave the screen to where you can see where we continue with the conversation. I have about 1 or 2 people that might join us as well. And I know that, we'll be giving more background. For those of you following us on our timeline, you'll be able to see a little bit more just after this broadcast as well. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK at the Ghana Investment Opportunities Summit 2020. And as you can see, even from the brochure there, that is the president of Ghana, is right inside. I'm not sure whether he's still in there since their breakup, but I saw him this morning. A lot of energy in him, and he has delivered a speech. And if you've missed that speech, please do go back into the timeline where you'll be able to listen to the Ghana president spoke for more than 10 minutes. Quite an energy one as well. This is Starr Radio UK. I'll go back straight to you now in the studio.
Well, listen,
it's quite a bit noisy, so bear with us here as well. But I can tell you, it's very, very noisy, and I hope you can still hear me loud and clear back in the studio.
Yes, can hear you loud and clear. Now, which are some of the industry that have been represented there?
Well, there's quite a lot of industry. From where I can tell you, I could say the Ghana Tourism Authority, the MF Construction Limited, the Nexon, the Lakeside Estate, Blue Rose Limited, and one thing is, quite a lot. We just move around a little bit just for about a few seconds. I'll come back to the same spot where we're transmitting from. But one thing I could tell you is the main focus today is about that deal that was signed by the Nexon Bank, in conjunction with the Credit Suisse as well. A very, very busy morning. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK reporting from the Ghana Investment Opportunity Summit 2020.
Okay, listen, let's start Radio UK for you with our rep, Mr. Olayomi on the ground at the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit 2020 being held here in London. Now, Yomi, I know that people are going to be going to...
I think the Ghana president, I can see him coming through. Let's just focus on that. He's right there, right on the stand of the Nexon Bank, and that is the Ghana president just coming up there. I hope you can see him on the other side of the screen. He's just walking towards us. Very busy morning, I can tell you, but right on our screen coming up now is the Ghanaian president as well. Once again, Starr Radio UK.
Okay. Whilst listeners, you are seeing shots from the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit 2020 being held here in London. As we can see, we have the president at the stand at the Exim. Is it the Exim Bank? Yeah, the Ghana Exim Bank stand. Where he is mingling with some of the exhibitors there. Okay. Whilst that is going on,
and that is him there. I hope you can see him.
Yes,
now.
we can see him. We can see him.
That is the president of the Federal Republic of Ghana. He's going to come up with us right there, as you can see. That is him there.
Yes. Okay, we were trying to see whether we could get some sound bite from there, but it doesn't seem that the sound is coming through. But
and
you can
that's
see.
the president there.
Yes, yes.
That's the Ghana president. We're live on the radio. We like to say something to the diaspora. Okay, he's a very busy man.
He's a very busy man. Yeah.
Very busy man. For
Okay, listener, just bear with us. It looks like okay. Yes, the president is quite busy. OlayomI Koiki was trying to see whether we can get him to.
We thought we could get something out of him, but as you can tell, not a very busy man.
I think his handlers are also not allowing us the opportunity to be able to.
You've got to understand that.
Yeah.
At least we've got the shot there right in front. And this is Starr Radio UK. And the president's still moving there while we. And also we have the ambassador. Hello, ambassador. Very good morning. Let's see if we can see if we can get one or two words out of the ambassador. A very good morning to you, sir. We're live on the radio. Okay, he's going to be back. He said to me he's going to be back.
Okay.
I said to you, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is what we do best, bringing the best of what is happening within the community. Finest. Just make sure you stay tuned to us. It's very, very busy morning. Right there is the Ghana ambassador, and we also have the president as well. We have all the cabinet ministers here as well. A very busy morning. I'll go back now to you in the studio while we continue the conversation right here from the this event center where it's all taking place.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK. 11:15 is the time. The morning show, the program. We have Mr. OlayomI Koiki at the investment summit that is taking place here in London.
Let me. I'm just gonna get them quickly. This is Rob. Rob, we met during our trip to Istanbul. The Emerging Cinema Market. We're live on the radio, and I would just want you to quickly. I know he wasn't expecting this, but he told me he's going to be here. But I thought that it would be nice to also have a word with him. Good to see you as well, Rob. Happy New Year. And it was his birthday as well yesterday as well. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Let's pass the microphone to you, and then you can be able to pick up one or two questions with Rob as while I look at behind the scene. So you might want to put the two on so that you can get them properly.
Okay. Yes, Rob, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And happy birthday as well.
Thank you very much.
Great. Now, just a quick one. We know that sometime, I think last year when we had you in Istanbul when Mr. OlayomI Koiki met with you. But this time round, what are you exhibiting there?
So why am I here?
Yeah, what are you exhibiting? Yeah. Why are you there?
Well, we put forward that Ghana was one of the top 20 nations within Africa that should establish cinema, and I'm pleased today to see that leisure developments, tourism, and other parts are coming through in Ghana. We also had Jared Murray Bruce from Silverbird, and they've developed some cinemas in Ghana. So this is exploratory for me to make sure that I can learn more and more about the countries that we're aiming to attract into the emerging cinema markets.
Okay. Now, so far, with what you've seen or what's been exhibited and the information that you have, are you convinced that it's something that you want to pursue?
Yeah, I think there's a period in time where we will move a conference and event into Africa and focus there. So it's now trying to find out where is the ideal place to launch an event within Africa to focus on cinema, focus on leisure.
Now, when it comes to the cinema industry in Africa, I mean, unless you want to use the venues in Africa, but when it comes to the market itself, people going to the cinema per se, it's not there. So you have people having DVDs because people cannot afford. Do you think that is a very good market for you?
Yeah, I genuinely do, with the average age being so young, and even in here being to have by 2050 900 million people within Africa who are youth or young. But I don't think it's just about going to the cinema, it's about creating African stories, creating media content, stories, information, all of it. Things that you're doing that create so much life. And there's a very different and rich creative culture within the African nations that needs to be developed, it needs to be supported. So without places to stream films or short stories or documentaries, it's very hard to gain a wide audience. And it should be part of the ecosystem, whether it be a cinema, whether it be on Netflix, or local streaming content, whether it be watching DVD or others. It's all important.
Wow. Okay, finally, now, what advice will you give to people in the cinema industry when it comes to Africa? I mean, the stakeholders, what advice will you give it to them now?
From those that are in international markets, like the Hollywood or the UK, believe in the people within Africa, that there's a buzz, a liveliness, and a genuine enthusiasm to have what everyone else in the world has. We can see that through Disney films like Black Panther or others. And I think for African nations to believe in cinema and take the best possible advice to get the right types of infrastructure in place. So great sound, great screens, great projection, great seats, and make sure that local people, especially young people, are given a chance to develop their skills on a localized level.
Okay. Rob, let me say thank you very much for a wonderful time with you.
Thank you. Appreciate the time as well.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
I'll catch up with you later in a minute.
Yeah,
I'll catch up with you.
Right.
Well, a very busy morning. I can tell you, Mr. ARCHIE, there's a lot of energy. Let's see if we can get one more person that will be able to speak to us. I know I have somebody ready. Let me see if I can get through her back. I know she's busy. Let's see if I can get through to her. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, so that we can be able to, let's see. Sorry. Okay, let me get through to very busy day. Okay. Let's see if we can. Hello, good morning. Let's see if we can. Okay, I hope you can still see me. She's quite busy at the moment. But I hope you can still hear me back.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. Okay, whilst you are trying to get,
Yeah, let's just continue with the with some of the other news as well while we're still showing you this live feed. And if you have any more questions on this event here, then we can take it up from there.
Okay.
Let's also tell you that the President Muhammad Buhari is still in London as well. A lot of message was passed out yesterday to the, to not just the Nigerian, but also the United Kingdom. And I'll be giving you some of the highlights of what the President said during his message yesterday as well. I'll tell you that, and let me just put a little bit, quite very, very noisy, I can tell you. And let me see if we can just move out a little bit out of here so that we can be able to have a very good conversation. And once again, for those of you watching us, show at the Ghana Investment Summit taking place in London. And this is the only station that brings you behind the scene. We saw the president right there, and we also saw the ambassador. We were able to see if we can catch up with the ambassador. He said to me he's going to come back. I remember seeing the ambassador when the king came to London. Now I'm going a little bit away from here so that so that we can get a bit more less noise, and we can have all the other conversations before we bring this broadcast to an end. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK.
Yes, listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. While Mr. Olawumi trying to get himself to a place where it's less noisy, let me acknowledge my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Frank Davis, who has also joined us. Frank, good morning.
Actually, good morning and good afternoon to those who are somewhere, and good evening to those who might be somewhere else.
I like that one. Somewhere and somewhere else. Okay.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Frank. A lot of energy here. It's all okay. I can't turn the camera around, so I'll just leave it the way it is. I thought I could turn it around. But I'll just leave it there. But I think the noise has been a little bit reduced. Again, this is Star Radio UK, live at the Ghana Investment Opportunity Summit 2020. I will now go back straight to you in the studio.
Yes. Let me go back to
okay. Okay, I got the lady that I was looking for. I have been tracking that down, but this is the miracle that I came with right there in front, and she will be telling us more about that deal that took place today as well. About the. Okay, she won't talk about the deal, but she will just tell us a little bit more on the next thing as well. Okay, let me pass that to her. I know she's very busy, but in about a minute, let's quickly get something from her.
Okay.
Star Radio UK.
Hello, good morning to you.
Morning.
And welcome to Star Radio UK.
Hello.
Now, a quick one. Your name and the industry that you are representing, please.
Yeah.
Hello.
Just about this event. Yeah, they're just going to ask you about the event. Yeah.
Hello. My name is. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes. Your name again?
My name is Beryl. I work for Ghana Exim Bank.
Okay.
And we're co-sponsors for the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit. Basically, it's a summit to tell the rest of the world about Ghana, doing business in Ghana, the conducive environment that our government has created. It's also an opportunity to create awareness for our government's industrialization agenda. We have various sideline events, and Ghana Exim Bank mounted an exhibition, our popular Tuesday market. We are here with our value addition to staples, well packaged Ghana products, basically to tell the world, UK, that we are ready for business. You're ready to export. You're ready to utilize machinery from UK to develop these raw materials into finished products.
Okay, that's interesting. Now we know people are you have such events, and there are people who are so much interested in coming to Ghana to invest. I mean, to Africa as a whole, but at times we have bottlenecks, and those are the things that at times hinder people from. They come in there and they think, you go into this department and there's that there, there's that header, there's that, and the people just give up. Now, what do you say about that? Do you think those things have been sorted out?
To a large extent, they are, because we need to create the conducive environment for investors to come over.
Mm-hmm.
We need to create the economy that will bring attractiveness to the business sector. So yes, to a large extent, the bottlenecks are better than it used to be, not the best time ever.
Okay, so it's better than it used to be. Okay.
Yes.
Finally, because I know that you are very busy now, what do you want to tell everyone who is listening, all the listeners across the globe who are listening to us this morning? What do you want to tell them about coming to Ghana, coming to invest in Ghana?
Well, I want to tell them that with the continental free trade, I don't know whether you know much about the continental free trade, and Ghana won the right to host the Continental Free Trade Secretariat. So I'm proud to announce that the Continental Free Trade Secretariat is now in Ghana, in the African Trade House. We are poised for business. I would say that Ghana is now the gateway to the world. And I mean, there couldn't be any better time than now to invest in Ghana, to see, to taste, to feel Ghana. I'm telling the world that this is the time. We recently organized the Year of Return, and it was extremely successful. After the Year of Return, launched Beyond the Return, where we are organizing various programs to bring in investor community, to see what we have to offer, to collaborate with us and push our agenda forward.
Okay. Let me say thank you very much for a wonderful time with you, Madam Bello, and we hope to have you back on.
She needs to go now because I think attention is needed as well.
Okay.
So we let her go while we continue with the broadcast. I think I will just come to the front A very busy morning, I can tell you, Mr. Archie and Frank. I hope you can see me. They're going back to the room, but I will just continue and then I can give you a little bit of a, not just the Ghana president is there, we also have all the other presidents that are here as well. Still a very busy week, but now I can go back straight to you in the studio, reporting the Star Radio UK from the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit 2020.
Okay, listen to Star Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. You can see in your shots at the moment. But Yomi, let's come to, you were talking about what the president of Nigeria said in the press statement yesterday. Now, what are some of the areas that he touched on?
Okay, this is a message that was released down at about 1900 hours yesterday. President Muhammad Buhari holds bilateral meetings with the World Bank, the Ghanaian president, and more at the UK African Summit that took place yesterday. The president also had with him the governor of Ogun State, and also the Abiodun, and the president and the chairman of Board Africa Export and Import Bank, Exim Bank. The one that's from Ghana, I think is Exim, just almost similar as well. Also Professor Bennett. And during the UK African Summit, African Bank, President Buhari also had opportunity to have a bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, and the World Bank, all taking place yesterday, a very, very busy one. And also we got a message where the President continued to say beyond smuggled of food products, we closed the border due to influx of arms and hard drugs. President Buhari was telling, the Akwapo Ado of the president of Ghana yesterday that the reason why they closed that border is because of the influx of arms and hard drugs. So there was this meeting between both presidents, yesterday, and the partial closure of the Nigerian border is not caused solely because of food products, particularly rice, were being smuggled into Nigeria, but also because arms and ammunition, as well as hard drugs, were being carried into Nigeria. The President Muhammad Buhari has said. I will go back straight to you in the studio. A very, very busy time, here in UK. This is Star Radio.
Yeah, let me say good morning to Abiola Olayinka. He said, good job, Olayomi. Yeah, and to Dieter Frankla, wherever you are, massive good morning to you. But let me go to Frank quickly. Now, we talk about investment. You heard the question I was asking the lady. There are bottlenecks. We come, we talk, we do all the adverts, and we have people coming in. There's an article that's going to be coming out from Star Radio UK. It's already out, okay? Now, it's talking about the experience of somebody traveling there. Let's say just for a visit first to ascertain how the whole environment is like. And now, with the experience that she went through, I talked about bottlenecks. He said, she thinks that now, it's not as bad as it used to be, or it's better than. So with that, if you're an investor.
As you say, no one have very high hopes for Africa, for Ghana, for Nigeria. I don't think anyone have high hopes than I do.
Okay.
I do believe, and strongly so, that the future of this generation, actually, especially for Africans, the African diaspora, is actually in Africa and lies within the Africa. So I share her optimism, I share the talks and other things that are. But actually, look, all these talks will end up achieving nothing. It will not change. Yes, we will by natural reaction. Look, actually, whatever happens, there will be a few bits of investment.
Yeah.
But when you look at what potentially we could have achieved from what we are achieving, you realize that we are hitting far below the line. You therefore have to ask yourself, what is resulting in some of this? The article that someone had just published via Star Radio, you look at it, it's a chilling example of what you do never want to hear in an African continent.
Yeah.
You get to the border, every country, the borders are very, very important. That's the first point of call. if an investor is entering Nigeria, Ghana, Congo, wherever, they go through the port.
Yeah.
If not the port, they'll go through the sea.
Yeah.
There's a port over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in Africa, airports are becoming a very strategic point. If your airports, the way we deal with people, customer service over there and all other things do not go well, forget it. All the noise, actually, we should even be charging some of you people or some of these causing financial losses because they are wasting valuable resources. The article, for instance, was talking about an experience where someone who was supposed to be professional at the port was harassing, extorting money, demanding money from a business class lady. You don't know why this woman was there. You don't know. I mean, if she's an investor, someone taking a business class, probably she might be interested in investing over there. Are you getting me? But an immigration officer, what were they demanding? $100. Now this lady has a big experience. She has a large network. We have got the audio. For her to send the audio to her ticket, everything about everything. She's obviously angry. Are you getting me? Can you imagine the number of people? I've just had a message from what called DR Aviation, who have picked up on the story.
Okay.
Your better because they pick up on the story. Actually, it is sudden. The other thing that we're gonna look at it. When we talk now some of these investment relations, what have we brought on the table? Have we brought on the table something that people can go and say that okay, we are just not here to buy. If
we are also here to sell as well.
Then probably let's change it to African investment and let's selling to Africa Summit. Because that is what it seems to be. Because the agreements that were signed yesterday, when I look at it, we've not heard that Nigeria is selling something to the UK. We've not heard that Ghana is selling something to the UK. But everything that we've heard over there, UK has signed this
to sell this, to do this.
Let's just stop this noise and call it what they call it, an African buying summit or selling to African summit. Seriously. And we'll come to the details of some of those agreements that I think are stinking.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK. We have Mr. OlayomI Koiki, who is at the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit 2020 that's being held here in London, and he's reporting live, bringing us updates from Nigeria as well. He did touch on the president's speech, the president of Nigeria's speech, statement that was made yesterday pertaining to some areas of interest when it comes to Africa and its investment summit that is taking place. But let's go back to Mr. OlayomI Koiki and let's see what else he has for us. Yomi.
Well, like I did mention yesterday as well, quite a number of protests still taking place as well. I could tell you there's a picture coming as well in terms of the security operative that has been set up by the 6 governors in the southwest, and there is a protest ongoing right now as well in some of those southwest region as well. We're also going to be looking at some of the other headlines as well in Nigeria today. And once again, I'd like to say thank you to all our listeners from around the world. Buhari met UK Prime Minister and seeks extradition of fugitive to answer corruption charges. Let's take a look into that story because we know the former finance minister, the petroleum minister rather, the Zeni is still here in the United Kingdom, and the federal government would love to ask so many questions, but it seems, for whatever reason, she's still presently here in the United Kingdom. So yesterday, the President Muhammad Buhari assaulted the cooperation of the National Crime Agency of the United Kingdom in the investigation of fugitives from Nigeria finding accommodation in the country. According to the spokesman, additional, the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity in a statement said the Nigerian leader made the call during a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Boris Johnson here in London. As we know, they were having a lot of side meetings yesterday. So the two leaders met on the sideline during that yesterday event. Mr. Buhari said the ongoing anti-corruption war in Nigeria, though might be slow, but painstaking, needed the cooperation of the agency. And report that the former Minister of Petroleum, the Zeni Alice Madueke, and the other Nigerian fugitives in the United Kingdom have fled into exile since 2015 when the current administration of Buhari came on board. I don't know whether you want to say something on that, or you just want us to continue with the
No, let's quickly have a quick look at that story. Now, this is a country where now, if you have anything and you cannot justify how you came by that money, it's going to be confiscated. Now, this is somebody that you know that genuinely the state is even looking for her because she squandered huge sums of money. Now, is Britain becoming they cannot take a stand here, because if the person done that, you have to just let the person be deported, let them go and face the full rigors of the law.
Which stand you want them to take? Is stand against their interests or what? I mean, this is actually throughout history, right? We know, I understand that Britain, when it comes to corruption within their, they are also corrupt to some extent. When you are found, you are dealt with. Are you getting?
Yeah.
But let's look at how strategically they have encouraged corruption on our continent and our sides. Okay?
Yeah.
Actually, when you and I go to open a bank account over here, we are asked to produce evidence of our residence.
Yeah.
We are even asked to produce sources of funds, how we're going to fund those accounts. So money going to your account. Actually, yesterday there was a transaction that was done.
Yeah.
Okay? A transaction was done, a 7,000 transaction that moved from Santander account to another account. The money was held for 24 hours as I speak to. It's this morning that the money was released because they wanted the proof of the source of money. I'm just talking to you within the last 24 hours. What happened? Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Now, here we are. People who come to this country go to the bank. Sometimes they don't even go to the bank. The bank executive send people to them to open accounts. Millions of pounds are wired into the account. Who tells you they don't know it? When you fall out of line, when they think that they cannot benefit from you again, then they start to we are against corruption and we will extradite this person. I like the boat that Buhari has taken. Good. Let's see if they would, if they're going to benefit, because at the end of the day, your money is in their bank. Yesterday we were talking about what do you call it? As Dos Santos. Same thing that's happened. The money is in the account. They had the opportunity to stop the money coming to the account. The gentleman that I told of that bought a 4 million
property in
Grosvenor.
Yeah.
The property is there. It's not the property of the state. Meanwhile, they've taken your $4 million. Are you getting me? Britain can do more.
Okay.
Britain can do more. But the question is, are we asking them to do more?
That is the question.
Are we asking them to do more? And what exactly do we want
them to do? Because I'm looking at it that look, if you deport this person to go and face the music, now will that bring you the money?
The question is, they will tell you how much it is now. Whether it's a true amount that they have in their account or not, we don't know.
Yeah. So I was thinking that what is important, take the money to them. It's government money. Just send the money back to them. You can keep the person. But let me go to Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yomi.
Yes, like Frank said, you wonder, just I was reading the report of just the Angola lady, where she's also has been accused or alleged of taking so much money out of Angola. But do you know where she lives? Do you know where she is? She's currently here in United Kingdom, where she's taking refuge. And you wonder how corruption can be fight when this country is also allowing individuals that need to be questioned in their own country to be sitting here and be enjoying, the benefit of being here, while some of this money are also sitting here in some of the banks and investment in the United Kingdom.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK. I'm trying to see whether we can link another person to Mr. Olayomi, so we can get an interview with this person, because the person is trying to communicate with us here. He said it's at the investment. He's at the summit as well.
Okay.
Yes. Someone to do with. He is the director of securities and exchange services. Yeah. So we'll try to see whether we can get that. We can get that. But while the conversation is still going on now, Yomi, which other this thing you have for us?
Well, let's take a look at some of the other stories trending as well in Nigeria. Lalong Mohammed reacted to the Supreme Court judgment upholding the election as well. Alleged pension fraud, we didn't conduct in-depth probe into minor case. The EFCC is saying there as well. Let's take a look as well. I saw something yesterday that was quite, worrying, and I'll be posting that later, where there was a protest in Abuja or somewhere in Nigeria. I can't pinpoint where that, but there was 2 vehicles packed load with different people, and all that took place was that they had, these vehicles swerving from one end to the other, and eventually one of them, one of those vehicles with a lot of passenger on it, an open truck, tipped over, and you wonder, those kind of, incident that happens all the time. And that takes me now to the next story. The Federal Road Safety Corps has disputed the claims of police about an accident along Maidu Shagar Road, Masha local government area of Katsina State yesterday. The cops say, contrary to police claims, 7 persons were killed, 158 were injured in the accident. According to the cops spokesperson, DC Kazim, accident involved a white commercial, a vehicle trailer. The FRC claimed to have made a rescue, told the newspaper that 7 people died while other victims were being taken to the general hospital. And we've seen so many cases of accidents in different parts of the country. Sometimes those accidents have to be played with human error for that as well. I'll go back straight to you in the studio. This is Starr Radio.
Listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. Mr. Olayemi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria, reporting live from the Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit 2020 that is taking place in London. Now, but let's have a look at this story. We did touch.
Actually,
Okay,
before we
yeah,
do that, we
Frank.
have a breaking news that is coming from Ghana. There was an alleged coup plot.
Yes.
Some people were arrested, including one police officer, the officer of the law enforcement agency. They've tried several countless occasions to grant him bail. That has not been successful. We can confirm now that he has been granted bail, self-recognition bail, in the sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis. So he has been granted self-recognition bill in the sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And also, there's also a demonstration. We spoke about a demonstration that is ongoing in Nigeria. The coalition against what they call new voter register are also staging a massive demonstration as we speak now at Kumasi. So that's also coming through.
Okay. Listeners, that is some information coming through from filtering through to us here on Starr Radio UK. And as we promise you, as and when they come in, we bring it to your knowledge. Let's see, Mr. Olayemi Koiki. Yes, Yomi, what else do you have for us?
Yes, like Frank says, it's a very busy time, not just in Ghana, not just in Kenya. I can tell you, where the president of the Republic of Congo was staying. Let's take a look at some of the other African leaders that we've been able to follow. And Kenya, they're staying in the same hotel, and their citizens there were there up to about almost 12 midnight. None of them were there for different purposes, for different reasons. And I'm told somewhere they also to hand over a petition to the president. And it got to a stage where the police were also called to intervene, because the guests that already booked for that hotel needed to stay very well. And some people were making a lot of noise downstairs, not allowing them to do that as well. I can also say that there was a lot of manipulation. The Supreme Court has also affirmed the election of the governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Mohammed, as the duly elected governor of the state. Congratulations to Nigeria, according to the PDP, official statement as well. So now it looks like all the election process has now ended, and now maybe it's time to focus on the governesses of the people, which matters a lot.
Okay, now finally, let's have a look at this story about the Amaticon. Now, the governors of Kano are also now planning also to now have their own place as well. It says, like Amaticon Governor Gadunje plans to float community police in Kano. There are plans to launch a community police outfit in Kano State. Now, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has said, the governor said, the launch of the outfit will help build security situation in the state. Now, Ganduje also said that he has forgiven all his political opponents since the judgment of the Supreme Court that upheld his election as governor of the Kano State. Now, interesting. Now we have some part of the federal government saying that hey, that is a no-go area. So the disassembly, whatever thing that you've actually put together, and now we have another person saying, look, we are also going to go on the same path. Yesterday, Frank was saying that look, that is a proper total failure on on government by government. I mean, they are not able to protect their own citizens, and therefore the states have to do that. Now, what has the federal government or the spokesperson said about Kano, the Kano governor's stand this morning?
Well, I've not heard anything coming out of the government in terms of the Kano also, but we do know that some other part of the northern state already have similar of this kind of community, operation in their state. But the problem is, most of them might not be officially or legally. And that is where the Southwest is now being looked into, where a lot of people are asking. We have similar to in the northern part of the country. Right now we have that. Yes, we can also say that yesterday, the governor of Kano is now officially the governor of that state after being campaigned by the PDP. So yes, he will be running the affairs the state for the next 4 years, and I'm sure everyone is only trying to do what is best for their state to protect their citizens. And like Frank was saying, we can have as many investment in every part of Africa, but the focus is not security, not safety. Any investors will be worried taking their investment into any part of Africa. The key aspect of it is we must have security in place first. We must have the government to make sure that they can protect not just the citizens, but also those investors like they're happening right here in the summer.
Frank, before Olayemi goes, now we have Ghana virtually saying that we are the gateway to Africa. And therefore, it's not only Ghana the person will be coming to. When the person comes to that place, they want to go to the West African sub-region, they want to go spread. Now, this is a case where because of what crime that is going on now, the people cannot depend on the state. Now, I was asking the lady that question, okay, but it didn't come that way. But there are a lot of things that have to be put together nicely, ironed out before you can get an investor to come in boldly, knowing that when the court even rules, somebody defaults me, the court rules, whatever is going on will be upheld. But this is the situation.
Actually, yesterday Boris Johnson borrowed from an Akan adage or a Ghanaian adage that all fingers are not equal. Let me also borrow from the same Ghanaian and probably an Akan adage, although there's no immigration officer here to tell me if I don't speak Akan, no Ghanaian. There's a saying that, look, your beauty will take you to marriage.
Yeah.
But
your
character
will bring you back.
That is the same thing. Okay. Our words, our marketing, our whatever, the words, the statement we make might draw people close to the continent. But the question then we ask is, what is the character within
our communities?
How do we welcome them? I'm not saying welcome them without laws. How do we respect laws? And I think we've spoken a lot about this. The rule of law, which seems to be bent depending on what the politicians want, with judges who seems to be in the pockets of politicians, and then the wings, their attitudes and everything has to go for the politicians. Actually, we're talking about environment, our roads, our other things. Water. You want me to go and invest in a village? There's no light, there's no electricity over there. What do I do? You want me to come and invest? I do not have the guarantee of sustainable or constant supply of water or energy to my plant, facility. What do I do? So actually, we need to, do a lot of work. I'm not saying going to seek for investment and other things is bad. It's good. but we still need to work within. And so far, we are failing. This corruption issue that we've spoken about, the question is, we're now looking out to the president, the authorities in charge, to see whether they will take any action, whether they will investigate, because this incident happened at a time on a date that is known. Okay? So, who were those on duty at that time? Who were those attending to that flight? Who were those? Because every information is there. Now, if such a story comes, the diaspora community will be watching. What will be the reaction of even the immigration authorities on this? If nothing is done, we know it's a fertile land for corruption. And therefore, it doesn't sound, or it will not send any good signal to me, for instance, my neighbor, for instance, or someone who I want to convince to step into Nigeria, step into Angola, step into Congo, step into Zimbabwe to invest. It's not going to happen.
Wow. Listeners, Star Radio UK, Mr. Frank Davis for you. Now, Yomi, before we go, what else do you have for us?
Well, let me just give it a bit of quote from a message from Mr. U.P. Grant, the CEO of Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Ghana Investment Promotion Center is pleased, to partner here, in this Ghana investment opportunity. And, further, Ghana has embarked on a systematic program of critical reforms to improve the ease of doing business, deepen and leverage the country as one of the most attractive investment destinations on the continent of Africa. And that is all about it for me today. And I will now say thank you very much. And we hope to be back with a full force with Niger Voices. I will be telling you what the guests will be tomorrow.
Okay, Yummy. Thank you very much. And you have a lovely day. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It's now gone 7 minutes to the top of the hour. And it's 7 minutes to 12. And it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 21st of January, 2020. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be having one of Ghana's, what do you call them? How do I even put that?
He's an official with the national security. And I mean, when we talk of securities, we talk about the banks, investment, and other things. That's what we're looking at, stock exchange and other things. And it's very important because since 2018, we've heard about collapse of banks and other things. There has been arguments here and there about whether the companies were solid enough. People have complained that government could have paid them off. Others were saying, look, there's a common method called invoice factory. Looking at how much government owns the contractor and how much those contractors are indebted to the banks, and how the capital level of the bank can actually basically brought up by those debts. So there has been a lot of talks. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have someone who might be able to give us more insight into what happens, and that's going to be on the morning show tomorrow. So whatever you do, make a date with us. For security reasons, we're not going to put the name of the person out until tomorrow. We will not do it.
Okay, so that's for your information. Make sure that you stay glued to Star Radio UK, and we're trying to see you to get the official in charge of the diaspora or the in Ghana as well to react to this article and this voice clip that we've got pertaining to the bitter experience of a Ghanaian based Italian-based Ghanaian who visited Ghana, and on his way back to Italy, what she experienced. If it's you, do you think that you want to go back to go and do an investment there?
And actually, interestingly, we've had similar experiences. People have made complaints and other things. Last 2 weeks, we read an article about Paul Boachi, who had narrated her experience and said what Ghanaians or what you will not be told about Ghana.
And
some of these came out. But we now have a full audio experience of someone. We're not going to say how we got the audio, neither are we going to say who recorded it. But they should know that they are being watched. Whatever they are doing, they are being watched. And if we're talking of a year of return where we should be giving good image, good account of ourselves, here we have an official of the state who should know better, who should be someone promoting Ghana's image harassing some potential investor, then I think is very, very sad, very, very sad. And Archie, for those of you who do have, go to our website www.starradiouk.org or download our app. The story is there. It's titled "The Year of Return." It's a Ghana, the year of return experience extortion, corruption, and harassment at Ghana Kotoka International Airport. Read the story and listen to the chilling audio. It's sad. It's sad.
Well, on the day where Ghana is holding an investment and opportunity summit here in the UK, those are some of the things that is happening back home. How does it fare for us? How does it paint? What image does it actually give to us when it comes to the world? And how many people have actually gone through such an experience? Somebody who is flying on a business in business class, you should know better that you don't even do anything of the sort with such person, because you don't know who the person actually is. Yes, but well, they've done that, and like Frank said, go to our website and you can have it all there, all the story plus the audio as well. It is Starr Radio UK. We take a quick break, and once we come back, we continue with the show. Don't go away. It is Starr Radio UK. This is from the Zongo Man. I think it's Malik's favorite.
We'll call it the year. I mean, that's my song. That's my song of the year.
The song of the year, 2019. Yeah. 2019. Okay. That was for 2019.
No,
okay, you for your 2020. Okay.
The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things? The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things? Them all go to university. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. Big degrees. MSc in steel. Bachelor of Arts.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Masters in looting. MSc in corruption. Bachelor of Science. Nepotism. MSc in 4 years. Bachelor of Arts in Discipline. MSc in Embezzlement. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things? The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things? Some of them went to London School of Fools, where they were awarded degrees in foolishness, PhD in stupidity, MSc in foolishness, PhD in dishonesty, PhD in recklessness, Bachelor of Arts in selfishness, MSc in greed, BSc maladministration, PhD in quasi-FM, PhD pull him down, MSc Africa is capable of managing his own affairs. That the African is capable of managing his own affairs. We have let Nkrumah down badly, disgraced him in the eyes of the world. Kwame Nkrumah should have said that the African is capable of mismanaging his own affairs. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London School of Fools, where they were awarded degrees in foolishness, PhD in stupidity, MSc in foolishness, PhD in dishonesty, PhD in recklessness, Bachelor of Arts in selfishness, MSc in greed, BSc maladministration, PhD in quasi-attempt, PhD pull him down, MSc in kill your donkey. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the
darkness.
whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 6 minutes past 12. The lines are open. You want to join us this afternoon? It is 0208-133-2257, 0208-133-2257 or 58. In US or Canada, it's 0017183032737, 0017183032737. Text or WhatsApp is 07539661744, 07539661744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and our email address is info@starradiouk.com. Now, if you're in the US or Canada listening to us, yes, and you are running out of data, listen, you can just dial this number and listen to us for free there. Okay, it's +15184006069. That is 0015184006069. You dial that, and then you can listen to us, so there'll be no excuse. Well, 7 minutes past the top of the hour. This evening, exactly at 8 o'clock, we have Simone Frazier coming your way with the CEO. Yes, 2020. Yes, make sure you tune in. She always has some wonderful this up her sleeve that she will be unveiling. I don't know who I guess is going to be, but for sure.
Today we have in our studios a very wonderful lady, Paula Perry, a financial specialist, cycling braking expert, financial specialist, cycling brake expert. Paula is actually known in the cycle braking expert. She's a mother, a mentor, lecturer, author, and founder of You For Us, which is dedicated to empowering women to take control of their finances. So she'll be our special guest today in the studio, exactly at
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Okay then. Yes, listen to Star Radio UK. Now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds in the world today. I started from home here. Some news coming through. NHS faces huge clinical negligence legal fees bill. Interesting. Doctors groups say the current system is not fit for purpose and requires fundamental reforms. Now, when it comes to this industry, it's quite a very tricky one. Now, because of lack of staff, therefore people have to rush. We have all these statistics that comes with it. Oh, how many hours people have stayed in the A&E before they got bed or before they got seen to, and all those stuff. So now it puts pressure on them, especially now that with the Brexit thing that is going on, that we know most of the medical staff who were coming from the EU have decided to go back. Okay, so we are low when it comes to personnel in the health industry, and now the NHS facing huge legal bills as well for negligence.
I heard someone saying you are here complaining about UK. Come to our country and see what is happening.
Oh, honestly,
that's part of it. But actually, clinical negligence bill is something that look, we've had misdiagnosis.
Yeah.
We have people being given wrong medication.
Yeah.
We have people being operated. A friend of mine recently got operated on and almost got paralyzed. He's now still nursing his wound, trying to recover. So if it is proving that they could have done better, or if it is proving that whatever illnesses you got, infections and other, some people bugs that some people even pick up from hospital, then it's only good that they compensate you, because at the end of the day, whatever you might have suffered might have had an impact on your ability to generate income, your ability to pay bills, your ability to actually undertake other productive activities that could have put you in a very sound financial footing and secure your future against any occurrences or any. But actually, like I always say, if it's happening in this country, I always want to see how do we learn from it. In Ghana, for instance, if someone visits a hospital and as a result of lack of a bed, the hospital where he is within the hospital, people were supposed to attend to them, they couldn't, and as a result, the person passed on to glory. Whose responsibilities? Do we demand accountability? Do we demand that the hospital authority and the government be held accountable for such? Because it can be proven that negligence
caused the death.
So actually, it's very unfortunate that it's so well noted in our community in Africa that this is what happens, but nothing is done about it. We only have to look at some of what is happening and take those experiences. How do we, in our part of the world, draw lessons from what is happening here? That's the only thing we can do. We cannot reinvent all the wheels. We cannot do that. Actually, I think they overcome it. One good thing about this, but once they raise an issue, they go with it, and they are able to what they call it get solutions for that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Now, when you look at that story and then link it to the story of Harry Dunn, who was riding a bike and then this diplomat from the U.S. drove into and killed, and the woman has fled because of diplomatic immunity. Immunity is now in the U.S. And then you ask yourself, is it compensation that these individuals want? Or what is it? Because I watched the movie, and it was a one on the telly, and there was this doctor who is good at what he does, very, very good. Okay, so he know that it was his day off, and then was at home having I think we were having party, so he was drinking a bit. And then there was this emergency that he was the only person that can come and sort it out. Now he went there, and because he was drunk, I think he got to a point where maybe if his senses were all working perfectly, he could have done some other things to save this patient, but couldn't because maybe his had impaired senses. And then the next moment, the parent of this boy decided to trouble this man seriously to an extent. virtually suing him just to make sure that he pays for it.
I believe that case they would have lost the case because I'm no lawyer, but from where I see it, if you want to sue such a case, those who will be held responsible and accountable will be the hospital, but not the individual. Because when it comes to the individual, he assumed a proportionate risk. Noting that, look, I am off. I have my private life. Unless contractually, he's bound to be on alert for a call at any point in time. If contractually he's bound to be on alert for any call of time, then there's a bit of negligence, which means that at that point that wherever you are,
if you are on call, you need to be alert.
Soldiers, they can be on call at any point in time. Are you getting so? Once you're on call, or you know by your contract that even if you are off, when we have emergency which you and only you can deal with, or you'll be called or you'll be asked to come to duty. If that contract has that spelled out, then yes, he'll be liable. But if not, the parent did not call the man. It was an establishment that called the man. The parent did not decide for the establishment not to have an. Are you get me? But the other case, looking at it from the other side of it, look, you got a dying kid. What they've tried doing was to try and save the person. Whether the person was going to be, if the person had not come, the person would have died. He came, he did his best,
and the person died as well.
There are lots of arguments that could have been made.
So you take this Harry Dunn case where it will be difficult because it was an accident that happened. Okay, now I know parents. I know. To lose. Even to lose a pet is something that talk less your child, or it's something that you don't want to talk about. But I'm looking at the practicability of the whole thing. Now, this person will not be put in prison. I'm sure will not, because it was an accident. It wasn't a deliberate thing. And now the person is in the US. Now you went to the US. You went to see the US president. Now I was thinking that to just get some closure. If we want to ask me, was I drunk before I drove into your son? I wasn't drunk. You cannot even justify that at the time.
This case is a bit different because at the end of the day, yes, it was an accident, but it was a careless, avoidable accident. Now, if I put to you, people can come and help me out. But I think the law might have to look at whether that incident or whatever might have happened was avoidable. And in this case, for instance, it was clearly avoidable because the lady was driving at the wrong side of the road. So that alone is careless driving. Because you can be charged for endangering life by careless driving. This one, they will charge you for killing someone by careless driving because you're driving at the wrong side of the road. There are rules and regulations that drive on this side of the road. That is the law. So if you veered into someone's lane, then broken the law. So this in their case, I think they have a strong case. Now, the issue about closure, whether financially someone can pay a life back. No one can pay a life back. But sometimes financially, you can compensate for your loss. Because do not forget, they are grieving, they will spend money, they will do this, and the man have invested even
so much in the boy.
The earning potential, even that boy. Who knows what the boy
would have been?
Can become. So sometimes, but nothing, money alone does not bring closure. Justice, justice first and foremost brings closure. Sometimes money
will not bring the closure that the person.
Justice. If people are saying that people have been dealt with fairly and they've been treated fairly, I think that brings a bit of justice. That brings a bit of closure to people than just saying. But if not, they reach Wale, they can kill you and buy their way out.
So do you think that this lady should come to the UK to come and face the laws?
Look, I think coming to UK is going to be a problem. It's not going to come. That one. If she comes to the UK by the laws, which laws is she going to face? Careless driving. Are you going to put her in jail over here? So it's just a soft, gratifying move to say that the British police have also succeeded or bringing to the. Besides, do they have a extradition treaty? If they do. But diplomatic immunity. So the rules of the game must apply. Although grievous crime as it might be, but the rules are rules. If diplomatic immunity says that they cannot be extradited, why not?
Wow, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. 19 minutes past 12 of the time. Exactly at 1 o'clock, we'll bring the program to a close. If you joined us for the first time, yes, we welcome you to the family. Welcome home. Welcome home. Somebody's where is home. Home is Starr Radio UK. All right then. I wanted to see if a couple of people who have joined us, just to acknowledge them, and then we move on from there. Okay. A few people have joined in as well. Nana Amakunedu, let me say good afternoon to you. And Lucretia Kwanzaa, good afternoon. Regina Safu and David King. Good afternoon to you all, and thank you very much for joining us as well. Tell your friends to tell your friends and your friends and your friends to like our pages as well. Okay, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. One other story making the rounds here in the UK, and then we'll move on to other parts of the world. Now, tougher terror laws within weeks. Government vows offenders will face more time in jail as hard truths are faced after attacks, the Home Office says. And one other aspect of it that has been brought in, that when people have been arrested for terror charges and have been imprisoned, now when they are about to be released, they're going to do a lie detector test. Okay, so now if the person like this guy did writing that, oh, I regret what I did or what I was planning and all that, this time around, when that is done, we know emphatically that it is true. But do you think that will keep us safe?
It's lie detector test 100%.
No, it's not. Got 0.0 something percentage.
The polygraphs and other things they use for, like, I've not gone through it before. I would love to experience it to see how it is. But from my thinking, it could be a deterrent to get people to speak the truth.
Okay.
Knowing that, well, the chances of you being caught for not telling the truth is high. I think we got statistically convincing degrees of accuracy to be able to say that, okay, even if we have 75%,
it's still on the higher side.
Really above 80%. Other than chemical interrogations and other things. If that's what they're going to bring in to ensure that people speak the truth. But the question is, the truth is only truth at the point of you interviewing.
Being the person,
And the truth only takes recognition of or cognizance of the past up to that point. What happens tomorrow, what happens cannot be factored into
what has been said today.
If at that point in time I'm telling you the truth, that I do not want to go and commit this crime again, I'm telling you. What happens if events change? The next 2 days, the next 3 days, the next 1 month, polygraph will not be able to determine at that point what the future is likely to be. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this technology, politicians would like to, flash it, tell us, put it in our face that they are responding, we should see them as a strong government in response to what happened at London Bridge, which is exactly what this law is supposed to show. To say that the government is responding with a kind of an iron fist, an iron hand, to be able to deal with those who might come out of prison to harm us. Actually, it is not financial to the whole problem, because at the end of the day, you can't tell next week from today. And if you are interrogating me, I can. If you ask me, Frank, do I know David Kluche? And I say no. One, I know David Kluche. Or if you have I ever met David Kluche? I said no. But I've met David Kluche.
Yeah.
The polygraph will be able to find out I'm lying. Have I met what do you call it? Kofi Ali? Yes. And I say yes. It will find me to be truthful. Have I met Felix? I said no. Have you spoken to Felix? Yes. It will find me to be truthful. Do you know Archie? No. Meanwhile, sitting in front of her, it will find me to be lying. But if you ask me, have you met, let's say, who do I say, Davidson?
Yeah.
I said no. That does not mean that I will not meet Davidson next week.
Maybe next week you go meet David.
I'm going to meet David next week, and whatever we plan, the polygraph will not be able to capture it. So yes, some degree they might be able to get a bit of information, but for me, I'm not going to see this as well. The heavenly blanket that will come to cover and protect all of us. No.
Do you think that we need to use this lie detectors for politicians?
I think Africa we should install it at every setting. I think we should install it. No, even before they leave office. I think before they leave office.
We have to use that on them.
Yeah, when you were in office, did you steal? Yes or no? So before it should be part of their contractual agreement that when you assume office, and including the directors, when you assume office, you are asked to sign a bond that you will not steal, you will not do, in fact, oath which they serve them. Okay, so at the end of the day, it should be part of your contractual agreement that you face a lie detector test at the end of your service to the nation.
Yeah.
Did you steal?
No.
Did you do nepotism? Did you give
I say ting.
And then when it's ting, then we say, okay, now where the money you stole, bring it. Because you've admitted you stole it. So where is it?
We will not have all this going to court and documenting. We know that you confess to it.
Yeah, let me say good afternoon to Mele Allison. Melly Allison, we say good afternoon to you.
Melly Allison, good afternoon.
And Edith Srikuma, Nuruddin Hasafi, I also say good afternoon to all of you.
Okay. Welcome back to the program. 12:25 is the time. At 1 o'clock exactly, we'll be bringing the program to a close. But let's move on to some interesting story making the rounds in the world. Now, this morning we have Greta Thunberg, is that her name? Greta Thunberg going to Davos, arriving at Davos. She's an advocate for this environmental, climatic change, and you know that she's doing. Now, I think when she arrived, I was monitoring it, so maybe less than 30 minutes, then we have President Trump also coming in. Now, Trump has come out to say he decries climate prophets of doom at World Economic Forum. He said the U.S. President Donald Trump has decried climate prophets of doom in a speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where sustainability is the main thing. Now, he called for a rejection of predictions of the apocalypse and said America will defend its economy. Now, Mr. Trump did not directly address Greta Thunberg, who is opening a session called Averting a Climate Apocalypse. Environment destruction is at the top of the agenda of the annual summit of the world decision makers. But Mr. Trump told businesses and political leaders gathered at the Swiss ski resort that it was a time for optimism, not pessimism, in a speech that touted his administration's economic achievements. Now, this has been something that I've been talking about all the time. When we have this summit and the countries that have developed saying that, look, we think that we still have to develop, because if you look at the number of people, the population that we have, the population growth, if we say that we're going to stop and then channel our energy this way, I mean, lots of people are going to suffer, because there's going to be cut of job cuts. I mean, we might have to cut down lots of the things that we do. And living itself might be expensive.
Yeah.
Not might be, will be, because you look at the vehicles that we have to be using now.
Yeah.
Now, so you look at all this, then you seem to agree with what Trump is saying, that I can't stop it, because if I stop it, there's going to be calamity. And others are saying that, look, if we don't do anything about it now, there's going to be calamity. So calamity.
Archie, the truth is that we cannot stop certain things. That does not mean that we should not acknowledge them. For instance, for those of us who might eat red meat, even if we can't stop red meat, does not mean that we cannot acknowledge that it has a bit of negative impact on us. Are you getting me? Right. If you drive in your car, you cannot deny the fact that driving a car is eating to your pocket, because you buy fuel. Unless you buy even water now, they sell
you have to buy.
Are you getting me? So there's a difference between you not stopping it and acknowledging that that is a reality, but you might not have an alternative to stop it. If I had my own way, who say I will not stop eating?
You save money and you live healthy.
If I have my own way, I'll stop eating. But the truth is that I can't stop it because I need the energy.
Yeah.
What is the alternative? Die? No. So what Trump is saying, I can understand that yes, we must pursue economic objectives, but at the end of the day, you cannot deny the fact that in pursuance of that, we still have problems that are being created by that. Because if you do not recognize and you do not accept the fact that we have some of these challenges, you will not think of how to act differently, how to look at alternative ways and means of doing things that could be done. For instance, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a rider. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
If, for instance, I say, okay, I'll stop driving, and if I'm going to take a
bicycle.
Actually, telling me to take a bicycle today, some people do it. I can't do it, because at the end of the day, for instance, when I was coming, for those of you who do not know, the UK is the country where the sun will be shining. The cold, the sun is blowing.
If you know, you dare think, oh, it's sunny, let me go out.
The sun is blowing or hitting you. It's a kind of freezing. This morning I was coming, I mean, the weather was almost 3 point something. Abian, outside Abian was about 3 point something. Meanwhile, the sun, I could see the sun appear on it. You want me to ride a bicycle? I am not. That does not mean I'm not acknowledging the fact that driving and polluting the environment. But like Trump would do, is that fired an agenda. You can have your agenda. He has set up his agenda. And the agenda, he has arrived, he shot the first bullet.
Yeah.
So now, instead of focusing on the main thing that you are coming to
talk about,
everybody will now going to start focusing on
what he said.
I mean, he's just holding the media headline. He's smart at doing that. So the journalists will be there, articles that will be coming out, Trump, yeah. He wants to keep his name in the media at all times, and that's what he has succeeded in doing.
Interesting, because we're looking at the African countries, and they will tell you, you can't do this, you can't do this, and we have not developed ourselves to that standard where we say, oh, we are all at par, so now let's all just chill. Because some people are satisfied, others are hungry, now trying to look for something to cook, and you say, now let's go on a fast.
It's just like I get back home, you are finished eating your dinner,
yeah.
You're telling me it's too late to tell
you
on.
Yeah. It's sad. So I don't know how African, because especially when we have African leaders who, excuse my language, don't use their heads. They don't.
They use their bank account to
So far as there's something going up, they said, "Oh, okay, let's." So some of them are going to be signing deals and saying that, okay, we accept it. But meanwhile, whatever is coming in, it's just something small that will not help.
Actually, talking about deals, it's good that you mentioned deal. Let me just a classic example of a deal that some of us are finding very difficult to understand. But before I come to that, actually, the issue about African countries need to develop. Yes, we agree that they need to develop, but actually the fact of the matter is that if it took technologies on our side, so if when we didn't have mobile phones, to be able to connect Kasua to Accra, we need copper.
Yeah.
We need to
run the copper from Accra right down to Kasua
to be able to telephone, undersea cables and other things, or to be able to have satellites and other things. No, technology has brought Kasua closer to us. Before the 1990s, it's only specialists, soldiers and other were able to communicate radio. But now I don't need a cable. That's why a lot of African countries do not have land phones. A lot of Ghanaian homes do not have land phones. That doesn't mean you cannot communicate with them. Because mobile phones have not taken over. So we're saving the amount of copper, the equivalent amount of copper that we could have used to wire. We can do differently.
Okay, we've got a call online. Let's go and let's see who is there. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Doing very well, Mr. Kofi Ali.
Yeah, I told the only one will be Kofi Ali. There's nobody else.
Yes. How are you? How are you doing?
Not bad.
Great.
Yes.
Yes. So what do you want? What do you have for us today?
A lot. Especially when my professor is in the studio. I don't have a Professor Frank, how are you, Frank?
Kofi, I am here by sudden.
We are all doing the same thing. The work of God is not for us, it's for all of us.
We hear you.
Naturally, people have different way of seeing things. But we shall get there.
Amen.
Let's start quickly with what you call it. I think you mentioned something that has to do with a doctor on call or something like that.
Yeah. We talk negligence.
Negligence. The NHS facing lots of
Yes. There should be issue of negligence because it's on call. There is difference between off duty and be on call. Be on call means you will not be on the job, but they can call you anytime. If there is a need to call you. So when they call you anytime, actually, though you are not on duty, you may be out there doing your own thing. But you must be in the frame of mind at the time they will be needing you. So if they call you, it means you have junior officers who are working, but you are the most senior officer. When there is a very critical issue, you will be the one to be called on.
Okay.
Therefore, when they call you, and during that time, you have yourself in a condition, maybe you were socializing, overdid it, that your mind was not in the frame of condition to be able to do what you are expected to do while on duty, on being on call, you understand? Then you can be charged for negligence.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because they are paying you, but they are not paying you fully. Because you are not on duty. It's part of your package. So there's a contractual agreement somehow, somewhere that you have. So that is said. The next issue I quickly want to touch on is the issue of the lady who ran away to America.
The Harry Dan case.
Harry Dan. You see, the problem, to start with, of course, in Europe, all the countries in Europe, there's no death penalty for any crime, any offense committed. And what happened on that occasion as well is an accident. You understand? By law in this country, when there is an accident, for example, if I'm driving and reversing and I run into a pole, do you understand? Or I run into a parked car, though the owner is not there, I'm not supposed to drive away. either contact the owner or report myself to the police. Then they will come and say, okay, oh, this there, you can go, but this is how to repair what you have damaged, or let's contact your insurance. So you are not supposed to leave the scene of the accident. You must be there.
Yeah.
In this case, you are not supposed to leave the country. You must be there when they need you for interrogation, investigation, and anything. The lady ending up in America have changed everything. You understand?
Yeah.
That is what is wrong about this issue. And but then there's one thing. This is what takes us to Russia, America, Britain, or Ghana, or Nigeria. If this person, you understand, or China, if you see, like you remember the two people, is this Sainsbury or Sainsbury, the two Russians who came to kill people here and ran away.
Salisbury.
The Russians can only choose if they wanted to hand them over, but they cannot be any way the British could go there and take them by force. It's the same thing with this woman. You understand?
Yeah.
What they can do is to find another diplomatic way to do it for that. But between Britain and France, there's a good relationship. Like so many people have been handed to America for one thing or the other. You understand? They committed the offense maybe here, indirectly affecting the American government. You understand? But there is a tradition, understanding between Britain and U.S. So they do. But in the case of America, they do not like giving their citizens away. Yeah, but the British too. Now, you see, either way, you understand, this issue, the British can only wait on the mercy, and this is what we call conditional sovereignty. Britain can only wait at the mercy of the American. Although Britain is a strong country, if she decides not to, you understand, to go there's nothing, they will just have a tit-a-tat. You understand? Now, in a place like China, America, everybody will just keep what they hold. They can even go to the embassy and arrest all the rest there. If people are in my country, you understand, and whether diplomacy or no diplomacy, somebody did something and come to your country, and then I told you to give them to me, you refuse. I just have people in your country, I'll just go and pick them up. You understand? People from your country, my country, I just go and pick them and lock them up. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, if it is a country like Ghana or Nigeria, you understand, the president will have handed them over and say sorry. Because there's a big stick that they will use on you if you don't. That said, let's quickly leave that one. Then let us go back to this issue of the lady from Angola. You understand? The lady from Angola, like the Russian, I wanted to talk about Russia. A lot of the Russian billionaires who stole Russian money, they are in this city.
Yes.
The oligarchs.
Russia cannot come and catch them. You understand? You can't.
They do kill them gradually.
That's why they came to do whatever they did the last time. You understand?
Yeah.
Which I don't want to talk about too much because there are sensitive issues between the high places. Let them fight over themselves. But I'm just trying to give. Now, this lady from Angola with that documentary they made. You understand? You watched. I don't know whether you watched it on
Panorama. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
The documentary. See, there are so many issues here. She though happened to be the daughter of somebody who is Dos Santos. I mean, is it Dos Santos?
The
president,
the former president.
At that time. And then second contract went to her, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, there are so many ways to look at it. The woman, one way or the other, either by her father or by fate, she has become like Richard Branson. So many projects that she's done, very rich, isn't it? And then some people came to say that the way the woman became rich is unacceptable. What other way should have been acceptable? The most important thing is she in that country, what's the name of Angola, is she paying tax? That is what we should be looking at. How many people is she employing? Is that not true?
Yeah.
Because I am also proud to see somebody who look like me on that continent rich. Because rich people, we need them. They employ people. You understand?
Yeah.
The only area I have problem with, which I blame the Angolan government, you understand, is the people who were in the shanties. Most of them are squatters. They were somewhere where she needed the land.
Yeah.
And she now forcefully removed them and they relocated to somewhere which is very filthy. You understand? Now, you see, no, there are so many ways to do that. Like in this country, they will have asked her to build somewhere and put them there.
Yeah.
And then, you understand, you fall, after you have built, you're not building anything serious. Something at least you can put your own dog there.
Yeah.
Not where they are. Where they are, animals are dead in water and infection. It's not nice. We're all human beings. You understand? See, it's cheap to build those simple timber room for them. Then you let them go there. You understand? Then those, because most of them are squatters, they are not the owners of the land. The land belongs to the state.
Yeah.
You understand? Then the next thing you can do, you understand, is get the land and do what you want to do.
Okay, Kofi, just hold on a minute. I think someone is joining us and their volume is up. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry.
Yes, Kwame. Okay, so put your volume down a bit, please. Thank you.
I have.
Thank you very much. Let Kofi land quickly, and then we come back to you, please.
You see, because we have Kwame online, you understand? I wanted to touch on the summit he came to do here quickly, and then go to the Nigerian border closure, which also came up.
Okay. Why don't you go on? Let's
hear Kwame. Maybe
don't go away.
Quickly. Yeah.
Don't go away. The summit issue is very important.
Yeah. Yes, Kwame. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to Frank as well and your listeners.
Yes, afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Great.
Thank God. Yeah, we're doing very well. Thank you. Now, yes, what do you want
to Brother Lee too?
Kofi.
Oh yes, Kwame. How are you? How is US?
I'm in the UK actually.
Kwame is in the UK. We have another Kwame. We have another Kwame in US, not him. Okay. Yes, Kwame. Kwame. What do you want to say this afternoon, sir?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the climate change thing, but first, let me say this to something Kofi Ali spoke about. He was talking about the Angola lady, Dos Santos' daughter.
Yeah.
Look, unfair competition is a crime.
Okay.
You see, and all that we were saying with Dos Santos' daughter is giving the government using its leverage to give her all what that she has acquired. So to me, they've already committed a crime. Whether she's rich or poor, I don't, it's immaterial. But the thing is, the state assets have been transferred to her unfairly. And that's the bottom line of all that we are saying.
Okay.
And I don't think she herself, she's happy with her demeanor in leaving the program shows all guilt on her. And that's not the way to become rich. It's unfair and it's not good. And this is what is killing Africa. And even Frank alluded to something that we should set up a lie detector test on these people and something like that when they take up position and when they leave or something.
Yeah.
To me, I say, look, these things, though it sounds good than things, it's the system that we run that allows these people to get away with it. It's not the individuals themselves. Because if we have a better system in place, how could you even get yourself to that stage?
Yeah.
Checks and before a lie detector comes, it's the system we run that needs to be changed. Because if we don't change the system itself, and all we agree on a certain principle to deal with, then we will also be going round and round. But the climate change thing that I wanted to talk about, look, in Africa, like you are saying, we've not developed, and we are now in the process of getting there.
Yeah.
So we can't find the same agreement like the industrial countries, China and others. But then, what is the basic thing that is making this climate change come up? To me, is population growth.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one part of it.
To me, it's the main thing because look, when you have a room a room without anybody occupying it, the temperature in the room is low. If you bring 2-3 people into that room,
the temperature goes up.
You see, because the number of bodies there will generate power.
Yeah.
And the temperature in the room will increase. So if we are having so many people in the world and we keep increasing it astronomically, obviously there will be global warming. Because each and every person who comes into the world will have to have clothes, will have to have this, will have to have that. So it increases everything. So if we want to cut this climate change thing, first we have to look at population.
Okay.
And that's where African continent or the African continent or African countries come into play. You see, because in some cycles, when you talk about family planning and stuff like that, they think it's a taboo. You see, and that's where we can also play our part. Yes, we can continue to use firewood and do all those things and continue to catch up with the industrial world.
Yeah.
But then we have to watch our population growth. You see, because if we have less population, we'll cut less firewood, we'll cut less pollution.
Yeah.
You see, and these what African countries we have to take. We can't sign the same agreement like them because we need to industrialize. We can still use the coal and stuff like that, but now we have to watch our population growth. You see, like some countries did, you have to have one child and for a family and things like that. No, we can't say legislate, but let's be reasonable with it. 2 kids, before you even have 3 kids, you see your surrounding and what you can achieve with your family before you go on having 6 kids, 10 kids and stuff like that. To me, that's where we can also help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kwame. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Listen, let's start Radio UK. If you want to join us, we've got 12 minutes to go. You can still join us. The numbers are 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. US or Canada is 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. Text or WhatsApp is 075-396-617. For our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Now let me go back to Mr. Kofi Ali, who wants to talk about the summit. Kofi.
Yes, quickly on this summit, we were brought in. The first is when I say we, I mean the people on the continent of Africa, West Africa, and then down to Ghana.
Okay.
We were brought in, isn't it?
Yes.
First of all, some of us were invited to Berlin, whether we like it or not, to go and sign. Remember the agreement that was signed in 1884 Berlin Conference, were to solve the problem of Libya. Ordinarily, we were sitting down that somebody from somewhere have to, get us people together and sign it, whether we like it or not. That is that in Libya. Then that is collectively. Now, individually, Mr. Johnson sat here and invited all these people to come. He didn't go to them, to come here in his town. And we came and signed what he wants us to sign. If you look at the so-called deals that we were signing, they are going to build railway line here in Ghana. They are going to build that here. They are going to build that here. You understand? And then the factories where the things are coming is showing they are all from the United Kingdom. And we signed. And some of us thought that what we are signing is like we are buying them. No, it's investment, kind of loan. It's a debt on us. So every day we work, we'll be paying for it, and it has been signed. Now, then that key in the problem Kwame is talking about, the issue of global warming, isn't it?
Yes.
What is the population of the whole of Africa if we are too many? The whole continent, we are not up to 1 billion. Oh.
Yes, almost a billion.
That's the continent. China, India is 1.3 billion. China is 1.6 billion. Nobody has told them to go and control their population or go and kill themselves and do euthanasia. Nobody has told them that too. In fact, this useless summit, they didn't come. They said they are not coming. If Europeans are building tall places for our children to come here and come and look at them, and we need visa and we are beaten and we are deported, they are not coming because they finish building their own. So if the world is going to be black, let it be black. We, like chickens, were brought one by one. And I know your own Bible said, a house divided against itself shall never stand.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, you said something. You said, you see, even Boris Johnson said in his speech, he said, all hands are not equal.
Yeah.
So there are those who are stronger and those who are weak. And this world is about the strong and the weak. Since the day of Adam is strong and weak. If you are weak, the strong man will beat you, eat you, and enslave you. So what is making us weak is what it looks like we are incapable of addressing. Now let's come to us. Nigeria said they are closing their border. I'm talking about ECOWAS now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And they complain, what is your problem? They say, oh, it is rice. Okay, let's look at what to do about rice. And they say, no. Now they're smuggling and gun smuggling and arms into their country, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, in Ghana, there's arms into our country. We are sick of it. Mali, there's arms there. Senegal, there's arms. All the 15 West African countries, there is arms there. And this thing, the Fulani men are all, didn't you do Fulani in Ghana? Agogo.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still doing it. So this issue of weapons across West Africa is everywhere. In fact, in Ghana, we believe in the Nigerians who are breaking it. So when they are crossing their border, they actually are the criminals, as far as we are concerned. So the issue that we ask ourselves, if everybody should close their border, listen, a house divided against itself. If everyone should close their border, then what is that ECOWAS we are all talking about? And what we are failing to realize, you see, there are 15 countries in West Africa. Let me use West Africa. Going to the continent sometimes brings headache. Each of the 15 countries have their different priorities. Are you aware of that?
Mm-hmm.
Each of them, their problems are not totally the same. Some may want to import cars, some may want to make cars, some may want to do this, some want to grow rice, some want to... So everybody has got their priority. And that makes us vulnerable. So when you don't have a central control system and a law, so what Nigerians want to do for closing their border is to make Nigerian laws work. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Because in Nigeria, they want to enforce their law. Of course, even in the United States of America with 15 states, there are ways they check people. You can't just be walking anyhow. Every state you go to, there is a way they check you. In the EU, there are borders and there's a way they check you. You understand?
Yeah.
But we want for the borders to be a bit relaxed. However, if we do not have laws, even half the law of Nigeria being at the level of ECOWAS working, you understand that there is the external border of ECOWAS. Internal border is what we are talking about here now. Nigerian border, Togo border, Benin border, they are what we call the internal border, like EU borders of ECOWAS. The external border are the sea, the Gulf of Guinea, then on Cameroon down to Chad border with Nigeria, then you cross there to Senegal and Niger and Mali. That is our border. You understand? The job of ECOWAS is to have personnel there, making sure that those borders are properly checked. Helicopters flying across, and on the sea, we have our submarines checking.
You have submarine?
But I say, and we should have our
submarine.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't even have gunboat. You are talking about submarine. Nigeria, almighty Nigeria doesn't have gunboat. I know most of the naval officers, they take them to India to go and look at it, and then they call themselves naval officers. So don't even go there.
Okay, I hear you. I won't go there.
And what we are doing now is, you see, we are coming to negotiate, isn't it, with Europeans, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ghana came separately. Nigeria came separately. Guinea came, all the 15 countries, they came individually. And each have got their unique priorities. And therefore, they are likely to compromise. EU doesn't operate like that. EU Commission will lead and come and negotiate and tell everyone these are the boundaries. Nobody should cross it. If it is car, we want to make it greener, we'll produce it here. And the producer should come inside. Then they will decide the country or location or whatever, how the thing will be done and be done useful to everyone. In our case, a house that God has cursed, that is divided. You see, if these Europeans didn't come, I'm sure by now we'll be working naked. Because even the one they formed for us, Hausa, Yoruba, Fulani, they are nations. Probably they were there before the colonial masters. They were fighting themselves. That is why the colonial master got them. And now, Togolese are fighting Ghanaians. Ghanaians are fighting. Everybody standing at their border. And our life is so miserable. Why? Are we human beings enough? When God finished creation, it's good to throw away the wish.
The devil wants to take you to create West Africans.
The devil say he has a plan. Mr. God, please give it to me. The God say, well, if you have a plan, before we know there was a pygmy, dark-skinned pygmy, walking all over the place, causing trouble. We can work together. And when we said, look, the only way, you see these countries you are looking at, the only way they work together is to have a power over them. Kwame Nkrumah said all these things. Why 60 years? We are still talking about what we'll have done long ago and move on. China is burning the world. Russia, everybody is doing what they like. Even Donald Trump said he will not follow this global system. We have signed everything. United Nations will go and vote with our eyes closed. What kind of people are we? On this platform, we can't agree.
Kofi, well, let me say thank you because our time is up and I've got another person who is also ready to come on. So I know that if you want to go on until we unite, I don't think.
Let me conclude by acknowledging the comment of my brother. I'm sure he's the one coming on, Malik, who said we should be praying. You see, they've given up.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm giving up. So we should go and pray to God.
Okay.
They should tell them that they are our brothers. Let them go and do their prayer. We are fighting.
You are fighting.
We are fighting everything.
Okay.
We are fighting. When they finish their prayer, if God answers their prayer, we win.
Okay.
If God doesn't understand, answer their prayer, we will
You fight by yourself.
Because nobody. We will fight ourselves.
Okay.
If God join us, it's plus.
Okay.
If he doesn't join us, he's winning.
Okay.
So whatever, let's go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kofi. Thank you. Hello, who is there? Hello, caller. Hello. Okay, I think the person is dropped. The line is dropped. Okay, we're bringing the program to a close, but it's just a minute to the top of the hour. There was one story that I wanted us to have a look at, but let me just pick up your mind on it, and then we just go. It talks about the PAC setting bad precedent with arrest of 2 finance officers. That's what one of the MPs, Afenyo Markin, the member of parliament for Futu constituency, says. The Public Accounts Committee, PAC, is setting a bad precedent with the arrest of 2 government officials.
Okay.
Now he's asking the question, are we documentation examiners? Are we fraud examiners? Or on what basis did we say the documents it's compromise? Alex Afenyo Markin did ask. Now, chairman of PAC, James Kluche Avedi, on Monday ordered the arrest of 2 officials who were picked up by Parliament's police after they were cited for irregularities at the Sehi Akontombra Assembly in the Western region. Now, I don't want to go any further, but you have the AG who comes out, look at the whole thing and say, this person squandered funds, blah, blah, blah. So if the PAC now saw that, look, this particular assembly, these individuals have squandered money, and therefore say, please, just get on with it.
Actually, I quite agree with the MP
Afenyo Markin
on that issue, because there's a rule of law.
Yeah.
And until proven guilty by a competent court of law, you can't pronounce the person guilty. Arresting the person unless, well, if it's an arrestable offense, but this I don't think is an arrestable offense to lock the people up and to start investigation. I do believe that what the bench or probably the parliamentary committee could have done is probably refer the issue to Attorney General for possible prosecution of those individuals. But to call for their arrest, for me, I do not think I don't know much about that. Whether they have those powers to be able to invoke that. We do have the police, we do have the attorney general, we do have the investigative arm of whatever the government. So one would have expected that probably they should have made recommendation for prosecution of these people because they've not convinced us enough that that evidence has not been tried because the evidence that they're using to arrest the people should go before trial. And it is only the court that will decide or have that whether the guys are guilty or not. Yes, we might pronounce them guilty, but the law is
in the eyes of the law they are not until proven otherwise.
So I kind of side with Afenyo Makin, although I think I understand where Aveji might be coming from. I mean, an action there to be done. I mean, to
taking,
to set as an example and a deterrent to others. But is it within the law? I find it difficult to actually, place it within the law. I'm a lawyer, but from the little that my common sense law, I think that should. I mean, if you're a common sense barrister, you can also join me.
So, like the Auditor General, like this, what is his name? I've forgotten his name. Domelo.
Yeah.
Now he audits the whole. I mean, everything pertaining to develop. Is it the yes, and he could just say that arrest that one, arrest because a lot of people have been cited for corrupt practices. He could have just.
That's why the courts are there. The courts are to do their job. So I cannot agree with Afenyo Makin that there could be abuse of power or abuse of privilege over here.
No, at times it gets to a point where you sit back. I mean, a few times that we've spoken, and then you say that if God gives you the power, like some pastors, what you will do to them.
I'll be operating out of the Constitution. The Constitution will be under me.
No, it's because you get angry and you get vexed with what they are doing, and you say that no, something has to be done about it. And maybe that's what made this person. I mean, do it because
I understand that, but actually, when you have in a country ruled by law, you need to respect it. If I have the power, I mean, what do you call it? The Constitution. I will not be under the Constitution because I wouldn't have sworn that I will.
You abide by the law. I'm not abiding by the Constitution.
God will have given the power to trample over every Constitution.
Wow.
And finally, before we go, tomorrow, listeners. We were talking about the summit.
Yeah.
What we do know, Kofi Ali was making a strong case about how we've been invited here to sign agreement. The African countries that assembled here have signed lots of agreements over almost a 7 billion worth of contracts have been signed. We're mentioning whether we are here to sell or we are here to buy. One has caught the attention of the public and we'll be looking at it tomorrow. And I'm very, very much interested in this because we have a company, part of that agreement, the list that was provided from the government in its own offices, that the UK government. The last but one on that list is a company by name Trillium and Ellipse, which has won a contract to export. An export contract to supply 250 hospital beds to a general hospital in Kofredua, and the figure they are quoting is mind-boggling. Unless there's
I'm thinking that there might be some typographical error or something.
I actually don't think.
No, yesterday when you sent me that information, and then I went to Google. I'm trying to find out a new bed. How much is for the used one?
The that we have found is about 15,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's the most expensive hospital bed.
There you go. So
now we are being told that Ghana is buying 250, and it's not 250,000 because that hospital cannot accommodate.
Yeah.
Okay. So the figure 250 beds makes sense. The figure, the amount that we paying for those beds, 60 million pounds, which brings a bed to around 240,000, which can buy a 3-bedroom in this country. Can buy 2 3-bedrooms. You go to Wolverhampton, you can buy 2 3-bedrooms with that. So we are being told that Ghana government if this information, in fact, it is actually on the government of UK's website. If this information is anything to go by, we are being told that now Akufo-Addo has come to this country, has signed a contract to buy a single bed
for 240,000.
A single hospital bed. Actually, a single hospital bed. I don't know whether this.
I think it's a doctor. It's a doctor bed.
No,
you lie on it. You lie on it immediately.
And then they have built a miracle water into that. That when you sleep on that bed,
you're healing.
You don't need a doctor. You don't need a nurse. The hospital, the bed does not even need a hospital. They are told that a single bed is costing the taxpayers £240,000. Actually, a classroom block. That's what it costs. A 6 classroom block. Actually.
Value for money. Well, no. I really hope that there's
your hope will be dashed.
Well, when I tried first, then I took my calculator. I thought, let me be sure. You know, that's why I sent you the message. I said, do you mean that one is 240,000? And it's not cedis, so it's pounds.
Actually. What? So in fact, I've started looking for the details of the company. I'm going to be writing to them to give us a little bit more information about the contract. We might invoke the Freedom of Information Act in this country to demand information or to request for them some information. They need to give us meat. They need to add a bit of meat to the bone they are giving us.
Yes.
60 million of taxpayers' money. £240,000 for a single hospital bed.
Hey,
why?
Maybe they are building a hospital at 250.
Actually, let's go and take grind. Is it what do you call it? Hungry.
Yeah.
You know those one were
angry.
Let's go and take them. Use wooden
ball bearings and then put it on.
Yeah. Is criminal.
Now I think they need to feed us with some more information. But if it is for the best only,
and we're going to ask the Ghana embassy, we're going to add the trade division to clarify this. Because this is criminal.
Yeah.
This is daylight stealing. It's worse than the colonial.
Frank, something is coming to my mind. I think they want to say 250 bed hospital costing 60 million.
No, we have Kofreda General Hospital. We have the Kofreda General Hospital. They are not saying they are building a bed with. They are not saying no. Actually, the news. Let's not. Think for them. The news, as we have it, is that they are going to supply new beds to a hospital for 60 million. Kofreda has a general hospital. If anything, it should be an upgrade work. Because when you go to the airport session, where they're telling us that 40 million is going to be used to upgrade Kumasi, although the same government argued against the 27 million upgrade works. Okay? Then they told you, because the airport is that they're going to, but this one they're telling supply of 250
million. Did you hear what I said? 250 million for the whole country. Well, listeners, more coming your way this afternoon.
I want one of those beds.
Hey, this one is like
you don't die.
You don't die.
You don't die. You
don't get ill.
Hey. You have what you call heaven has come on earth. Internal.
The living bed.
The living bed. What do we have to call it? Actually, good afternoon, listeners, and have a wonderful day.
Yes, good afternoon to you all, and we'll be coming your way tomorrow, God willing. Like we said, we'll have a special guest going to be joining us. So make a date with us. But this evening, exactly at 8 o'clock, Simon Frazier will be coming your way with a CGO. Make sure you dial into listen to that program, and if you're interested, you are an entrepreneur, you're doing something you want to be heard of, get in touch with us on Starr Radio, okay, and we will make sure we deliver on that promise. On that note, Frank,
we say good afternoon to them. They should have a wonderful, blessed day.
Okay, but Kofi Kenyatta says never again should our leaders come and sign contracts like that. £240,000 for a bed.
No. If this is true, if this is not an error, it's true. Actually, Ghanaians should rise up on December 7th.
Okay.
With their town.
All right then. So enjoy the rest of your day. After this music, we'll have our DJs taking over. More music. Let's talk. Bye-bye for now. It's me, the one and only Archie. I'm Mr. Frank Davis saying, have a top of the day. Bye.
Yeah, Shadi